This platform is independent, and we wanted to work with everyone across the spectrum. So folks are invited to share what they know, and the viewers makes their choice, and we ask the questions, and we give the opportunity to answer.
This craziness, man, I do not care. Why am I so anti-establishment? Because of what I've seen the establishment do to people. That's why I cannot be pro-establishment.
Power is in the hands of the people. And it really did. What we all witnessed is the government, they knew that they were heading in the wrong direction. They knew Gambians are speaking in the same voice.
What law in the books that says the government has power to come out and go after folks' private citizens' properties and demolish them because somehow the government interest?
The only way that we can salvage our country is when everybody that gets their hand dirty. Don't sit there with your expertise and just to procrastinate everything that people say or pontificate, what everybody says or does. Let's get our hands dirty.
Another Sunday for the people, by the people. Sunday from the Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. A homeboy from Vancouver.
Paramozana this morning, you went for a jug or what? What's going on? Something like that, huh?
Yeah, now I'm doing the thing. I see it in the gym. I'm like, hey.
Well, hey, following past footsteps, huh?
Yes, sir. Again, we're back here again, Brother Marong and Pop Samba. We have a guest tonight. Bensouda in the house. It will be nice. Looking forward to it. I've got a lot of texts. Bro, everyone, they all have their opinions. It's nice, I'm really beginning to be very, what can I say? It will be a nice conversation. Looking forward to it. In Pop Samba, but what's been happening, bro? Senegal. Oh my God.
Yeah, so Musa, I just wanted to, I'll send you a note. Senegal, Moses, is interesting. What is happening more with this political thing, and it's to be expected anywhere. To me, I think people are making more about it than what it is actually about, because definitely it would be cultish. So if you have people that are together and they all agree at the same time, I don't think that's how you govern. At some point, of course, reality versus when you're an advocate, is different from when you're governing. So sometimes you're hit with reality. And that's where the thing is going to happen. To me, I don't think it's as bad as people make it to be.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I don't think either of them can afford having that. Right. And the thing about this Senegal thing, Moy, if anything happens to this, I think it would affect any other group that comes up and wants to advocate, because of this is bigger than Senegal. This is bigger than Sonko. This is bigger than Jumai. This is about a continent that is looking for a formula, a democratic formula that works.
Right.
To have young people who believe in the ideals that brought them into power and fought, to get it. So if that fails, whether it is Sonko or whether it is Jumai, they would have not only failed the cause, they would not have only failed the Senegalese, but they would have failed the African continent and the future leaders of who are looking for something tangible to go with. But to me, I think it is just what it is.
So listening to you, are you basically saying a split between Jamai and Sonko, somehow that translates into, a failure in terms of Senegal or a democracy. Is that what you're saying?
It's not a failure to democracy.
Yeah.
It's a failure. I think it will be the biggest disappointment to people, because people are looking at this and say everywhere and say, you know what, these young people, what they were able to do, the struggle that they did to come to this, the ideas that they brought, in and all that
Right.
stuff. If that falters, then they would have been seen by a lot of people. These are just another group of politicians what would just benefit people, and all of a sudden to just destroy. So they have to find a way of making it work for the greater good of Nakalatura, the struggle to Wapam.
And I think that's where the focus should be. I mean, basically they came and all they talk about, if there's one word that everybody is the project, meaning how do we uplift the Senegalese people? How do we change politics? But what we are witnessing though, especially, with Sonko, is this continuous acting like an opposition. You're in government now. And I think, this whole idea that still, acting like you are in the opposition, I don't see how helpful that is. In other words, you guys came, you have a contract with the Senegalese people. And this is what you intend to do. And I think that's where the focus should be. But now what people are actually looking at is basically what I would call the power struggle. In other words, jockeying for who is going to run in 2029. And that would be, to me, a huge disappointment. The focus should be what we promised, the contract we have with the Senegalese people, and start delivering. I don't know. There is something to it, though, even though people are saying that people are making a whole lot out of it, making mountains out of molehill. The relationship is solid. And then of course you have the Sonko supporters, and there's betrayal and Oro, and the whole 9 yards. But at the end of the day, I think they should find a way, work together, and go back to what brought them together, what bind them together, and that is that project that they've always been talking about, and hopefully deliver for the Senegalese people. And you're absolutely right about that. If things don't work out, it's going to send really the wrong message. You see, don't listen to some of these politicians and blah, 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 blah. Brother Marong, I don't know whether you've been following it. I'm sure you have, because you're on top of these issues. What's your take on?
No, I follow it. I follow it quite closely, and my take is there is regardless of what has happened leading to the selection of Jamai, I think my belief is there is one president at a time, and I think if there is any type of misunderstanding, I think it needs to be resolved in the back end. And again, yes, I wholeheartedly, this was like, Coach was part of our discussion this weekend when I was talking to a big Jamai supporter. I told him that, hey, I think it's gonna be it's gonna set a bad precedent, in the whole of Africa. I think a lot of folks are getting into politics because they felt that what Senegal did, they could replicate it in other parts of Africa to dispose the old way of doing business. If they could not get along and that continue to create this whole irreparable, relationship, I think it's bad. But I think furthermore, it kind of underscores the challenges that we all face within the African continent. There are people who are ingrained into the system. They are business people. They are people who retired, who's been in the government before. They skip from one government to another.
Right.
They are still live and very, very energized to ensure that the past status quo remains. And the newcomers that are coming in, they have to be very, very careful, or else things are just going to fall apart. And I really, really think this is something that should not be just what does like being a leader of a coalition means? I mean, what power does that individual have per se? That
It's a symbolic position, right?
yeah, exactly. So that's
Symbolism.
it's just symbolic. So why should that fracture the relationship between two brothers who love each other dearly and would work together? And they have a mandate, and this mandate definitely, and I think this will split over. And I was even talking to someone. I said Gambia is going to go into election in 12 months.
Yeah.
If these folks cannot even get along, that's a huge implications, man. So I hope cool heads prevail, talk to both sides and call for calm, and my uncle, sometimes he's hot-headed, man. The uncle is hot-headed and he needs to calm down a little bit, man. You know what I mean? So you can't fight every battle. Some of these things you just gotta let it go. And that's just the truth. I told the guys that, he's really hard-headed. I mean, you don't do that. Sometimes you just talk to the president, solve issues behind the scene, and come with one voice, even though you guys differ in principle. But when you guys work out in the public, it's one voice, one vote. And I think that should be the model that they need to move forward. But this whole, thing back and forth, I really don't think it's healthy, man. And I hope it gets resolved as quickly as possible.
I think it's going to get resolved. I think it's going to be. I don't think the difference is as complicated.
Okay. No, it's not. It's not.
And here's the thing, though, and that's what pastors should also understand. You are coming to cleanse a system
Exactly.
that has been entrenched from independence.
Yeah.
From Jah to Senghor to Abdou Diouf to Wade to Nakatura, Maki. It's the same system that has been going on for so long. It's not something that you can change within a year.
Absolutely impossible.
So you'll always have pushbacks. And pushback, you will have people with what Pastor wants to do is not in their interest. And the powers that be will always try to find a way of drawing a wedge between you and your partner, because that is what is in their interest. And this is where they have to focus on the bigger picture. What is the bigger picture? What is it? Because you're going to have this. And there is something to maybe Pastor, sometimes you're fighting so much, you're not even prepared to prepare yourself to look at the governance aspect of it.
Exactly.
When we come in, these are possibilities that are coming. Because you were busy. Macky Sall kept them so busy deflecting things, fighting. You were just trying to survive. Now you've survived now Exinger, and now regular do the bidor. And then the reality starts sinking in.
But from a Jomai perspective, though, I think he has transitioned. He understands when he took that oath to be the president of all Senegalese. Mm-hmm. Where we have here, and I think it's Sonko that hasn't really transitioned yet, to be honest. And I mean, at least that's what I have seen. And another thing that really bothers me, Pasamba, is the muzzling of the press. I mean, you're talking about, they came into office fighting that very system that you're talking about, the very system of arresting people and just putting them away. And when you see them doing that, it just makes you wonder, what happened to that? Was it just, but hey, our guest is here.
All right.
Bring him in.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
That's right, Mr. Marong. Coach.
Yes,
Mr. Jim.
Lord Mayo, how you doing?
Alhamdulillah. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Hanging in there.
That's great. Glad to be
well,
back.
Yes, well, welcome.
Time flies.
I know.
15, 18 years ago that we had Lord Mayo here running to become the mayor.
Now we're talking about a movement.
Now we're talking about a movement and the president. But let's say, alhamdulillah, at least we're still here. There are people that didn't have the opportunity to witness. And
Amen.
Lord Mayor, you and the chief strategist, I don't understand. Do you guys like get up early morning and do their physical exercise and get back on the certain
Most exercises with the remote control. Good enough. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah. But anyway, I understand that you have an engagement.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So I just want us to just dive into it because we want to do this within an hour, and that means
Okay,
our
great.
questions have to be crisp, the answers to crisp, so that we can go on. Now, Mr. Mayor, when you were here the last time, you were the mayor of KMC, elected on the UDP ticket.
Yeah.
Now, you've left the UDP and have started your movement. There's been a lot of talk about how you left. What do you think you will achieve with Unite Movement that you could not achieve under the UDP?
Thank you, Coach, Mr. Jeng and Mr. Morong. It's a pleasure to be back. The last time we talked was a while ago. Many things have changed. So to keep it short, the Unite Movement for Change is a political platform in long form, is united for nation, integrity, transformation, and equality. These are 4 things that embody what this movement is about. And just like you asked, why didn't I think I could achieve these things in the UDP? Well, my answer is that I tried. I tried to be a change agent. I tried to bring innovation in the party, to bring a new direction post the removal of Jammeh. And we've made certain successes in certain areas, but not entirely in other areas. But I believe starting from scratch is courageous. It also gives us creative control, and it allows for like minds to come together, which is not possible in the more traditional and, of course, older UDP party. So I think it's fair game. We didn't join the ruling party. We started from scratch. I mean, when we first discussed it, it was pretty much 5 people in a room. So I believe it's the right thing, it's the righteous thing, and we're on the right path.
Now, the other question that I want to ask, we know politicians can be opportunistic sometimes.
Right.
We've seen a group of people from Kaninglai came to visit you.
Right.
They are now in the process of cleaning houses and streets, in welcoming the dictator. Does your movement have any plans to ally itself with Yaya Jammeh and his no to alliance movement?
Right. So we've seen certain stories about the groups I had from Fonyi. Actually, I think it was just bad propaganda. It was a group of people from Fonyi, not just Kanilai. There was Kamfenda, there was Mayok. So they came through one of our colleagues, and they said they wanted to join the movement. So it has nothing to do with NATO Alliance or former President Jammeh. And no, there's no talks planned or in the works between the NATO Alliance and the Unite movement. What we say as a movement is we are not opposed to discussing with anybody about the future of Gambia. However, it must be based on aligned principles and values, etc. And depending on who comes forward, it would be discussed amongst leadership whether our values and principles are aligned. And I just think there's a lot of bad propaganda against us at the moment. There's a lot of fear by opponents because we're growing very fast, and it's simply that.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Musa.
So, Mayo, I really want to make this interview for us to talk about really policies, because the Gambian people are tired. They've seen government after government is the same old thing. But before we can talk policy, we have to talk about winning, because if one doesn't win, there won't be any policy.
Absolutely.
So my question is, there are a lot of Gambians out there forming political parties every day. They're mushroomming all over the place. Now, that's a sign of the strength of our democracy, which is good. We should be open to it. But it also can be easily turned to a clownish show. You are the national organizing secretary of the United Democratic Party, and I'm sure you do know what it's going to take to defeat the incumbent. What do you think is going to take to defeat the incumbent?
It's a good question. As you know, we are not a party yet. We are a movement. The reason we're taking all these painstaking steps, we want to form a political party the right way. It should be a people's movement. It can't be individual ambition as a basis of forming a political party. And we've done that. We formed a movement based on three basically principles. It's integrity and transformation and equality. These are all tenets we believe are missing in Gambian politics. That's why it's not issue-based, it's based on personalities. So we are first saying, look, we want to do politics differently. And on that mindset, we invite everybody to come on board and join and form a critical mass before we can form a political platform. And just now, I'm just from a long 4-hour meeting in a governance and constitutional building process, where members of the movement have formed a task force to look at what is wrong with Gambian political parties and look at what is good about all the other political parties and the changes we want to bring on board. And just today we spent, I would say, an hour debating whether the national president or party leader of our party should be an automatic flag bearer. And at the end of it, we conclude that that should not be an automatic flag bearer. It should be an entirely different process. So it just shows you some of the things we're doing to make sure that we institutionalize the political party. Secondly, with your question about winning elections, we don't like to think we were set up to just contest or win one election. We're here as a going concern to change governance in the country. However, it is also about winning elections, and 2026 is part of our targets. You're right. I was part of the organizing team of UDP, so I bring a lot of experience and I learned from a lot of mistakes. The incumbent will depend on money. They will depend on the incumbency advantage. We will depend on people power and, of course, strategies of engagement. So this week alone, we've set up 7 political bureaus, and we'll be opening them throughout December. But right now, as we speak, we have a presence in almost every village in the Gambia, and we have registered tens of thousands of members to the movement. So these are all unprecedented, painstaking measures to ensure that we are gaining genuine support, people who believe in the idea. And I know we will grow like a wildfire. We are going to be a people's movement, and largely through word of mouth.
Mayor, I've always said here.
No, it's frozen.
Oh.
Organic growth. And
Yeah, I think the internet.
What do UMC internet be like?
Yeah, it's the UMC internet. Jensen movement. It's the UMC internet that's acting up, but you know.
Mayor, you there?
Yeah, he's frozen. So we got an hour, so if you keep your questions short, maybe that's not going to matter.
Yeah, well, hopefully, you know, they'll be back soon. It looks like the internet, which is another thing. And I think if there is one issue that the Gambia has is this. It's like you cannot have a conversation with anybody without having internet issues. Everybody is moving. We are still stuck.
Yeah.
Roads.
So without a doubt, but any future government should definitely be able to come and address.
No, it's important.
So you there?
Yeah. Sorry. I just had to switch off my.
So guy, you know, UMC internet bilade. That's not a good sign.
No. It is. I was on direct connection, so I had to switch to Wi-Fi and put on my airplane mode. Callsy, la
Look at
local
you.
callsy.
Look
Gambia,
at
they will see you in a live
yeah.
interview and then call you. But last it and go ahead, most for your second question.
So my second question, it's going to be a
Yeah,
follow
yeah.
up. Because really, a lot of people are
Mm,
supporting you because they believe that you can win. So winning is really important to them, not necessarily that your policies are superior or anything like that. My question is, I've always said
right.
here that Mayo, being the flag bearer of the United Democratic Party, standing side to side with Alaji Usenu Numukunda Dabo, Yanks Dabo, from hamlet to hamlet, I've always said would be the most formidable formula to defeat President Barrow, or at least to give him the run for his money. Well, that now is kind of water under the bridge. There is a new path. Can you tell me what I just said? Do you really believe in that then? And why do you think the movement and this new path could equally be formidable against President Barrow?
Well, I think we're going to be quite formidable against any opponent, including President Barrow. The last statistics showed that majority of Gambians do not align to any party, and there's a lot of first-time voters that will enter this election, and there's a lot of unregistered voters. So majority of Gambians are not aligned. So we believe there's a big opportunity for us. I think we have the greatest opportunity to sign up all these people because we're fresh. We got great ideas. We are fueled by a lot of innovation and passion. And there's a lot of integrity with the people who've chosen to join us. And just the test and courage of actually starting from scratch is proof that we want to do it right. Because like many politicians, we haven't joined the ruling party or any established platform. So we've done the courageous and painstaking measure of forming this platform because we believe this is the right thing to do, and that alone will gain us a lot of trust and support. So we are battling against time for the most part, but in terms of our ability to win, it's 100% solid. It's a possibility.
Thank you, Mayor. Brother Maron.
Yeah, thank you, Lord Mayor Bensouda, for joining us today. My first question is definitely, the political environment is very polarized. And, coming from UDP and forming a movement, what would be some of your leadership traits that you would bring in, since the country is very divided, to bring people together?
Well, I would go back to what UNITE stands for. One of our principles is equality. So we want to remove tribal politics in Gambia. We want to remove politics of self-interest, personality politics. We don't want anybody to follow the movement because of any personality, including myself. We want people to buy into the idea. That's why we didn't come out the gate to call myself the leader or to self-elect myself as a party leader. We want people to join the movement because of these principles. And then we'll get to a Congress where we'll choose leadership. So I believe just the platform of Unite is enough to get Gambians across the breadth of the country to align with us, and we are seeing it already. We had an unprecedented level of engagement yesterday. Big meeting in Jarasoma, huge meeting in Pirang, and we had a great visit from people in Fonyi. And this is a daily thing in the movement. And the registrations, before I even got on this call, somebody was sending me 1,000 forms. They just registered between yesterday and today in URR. So it's just showing you that this is a daily thing for us. I think setting up the right way is more important than any one personality's ability to bring people together. So I think the people will come around the movement, and not necessarily what I contribute towards that. Although I also embody the principles around the movement.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Lord Mayor, I wanted to press on the movement. I know, it's a movement right now, and if you could share, when do you think this movement will turn into a political party? But also, the most fundamental question I wanted to ask is: the movement did not came out of vacuum. There was some pressing issues that forced some of your team members to come together to form a movement. But what are those core messages, or you hear from average Gambians on day to day, that force you to say, you know what, I'm going to start a movement, we're going to start a movement, and we're going to start do something totally different than the normal thing that, politicians do?
So when we decided that we're going to leave our former party, many were saying, "Oh, we should form something, but we think we should wait, so people don't think that we're rushing into a decision." But majority said, "No, if this is a genuine thing and we really believe that we can form a platform that speaks to the people, why pretend?" And then we started getting to work. And basically, what we all agreed is there's three principles missing in Gambia politics. There's a lot of lies that are said, a lot of fooling the public and making false promises, and meaning there's a limited integrity. So we said, okay, integrity is a major issue. Another issue is all the discussions in politics are around personalities. There's little innovation in political parties. They all set up the same way. The rules are likely the same, and the purposes for setting it up are all to win election. So we said we want to be innovative, and we want to bring transformational change in politics. And the last is we realize that every political party is based around and built around one person, which is the leader of that party. And usually the tribe he belongs to is makes up majority of the party's membership. So we wanted to remove tribal politics and introduce inclusivity and equality. So based on these principles, we said we have to move on this. So we played around with a few names and we said, look, our theme is about a united front to bring lasting and meaningful change to Gambia, sustainable change. And then, with a little bit of playing around, there was names like Unity, which is UNITI. There was various names, Gambia for All, and believe it or not, somebody suggested For the People Party. So, so we basically, I actually told somebody, look, I don't want the people with the For the People show coaching them to sue us, So we decided and settled on the Unite movement. So basically, like I said, I think this is the political force. When we started, we didn't think much of it, but it's the reaction from the people. And I think it's because they love how we went about it. Don't build anything for us and try to shove it down our throats. Involve us in the building process so we can take ownership. And that's exactly what is happening.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Coach.
Mr. Mayor, since the formation of your group, your organization, your movement, let me just call it by its name, your movement, there have been a lot of attacks, left, right, and center. We've heard the Minister of Information, who at some point you appointed as an advisor, refer to you as boy. In the United States, you tell a black person boy, chances are you'll have a big fight in your hands. But anyway, we've also had Ahmed talked about what you refer to Wahi Cabinet, Lamogede Kosisalvi, or Sipechabi, that they're going to watch you guys very, very carefully, because you are a bigger threat. What would you guys do to ensure that your message is heard and that you will not be drawn into the politics of Kipapam Sendahlaya and Golola, as we tend to see in our politics? Hello?
Mayor, you there?
Am I being heard?
So one of the things, like I said, is about, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a slow transmission. But basically, we already practicing it. So these are one of the to focus on issues. Even when we tackle opponents, we tackle their bad policies, we tackle their poor developmental track record, and the abuse of office or things they're doing very poorly, especially their performance. And that's exactly what we're focused on. If Ismail Assise, the minister, or Ahmad Ba believes we are going to be stuck in a bubble throwing personal jabs at each other, they are greatly mistaken. We are focused clearly on the poor record of government, the high cost of living, the depreciating currency, the joblessness and hopelessness, the rapid and rampant corruption eating through government coffers. This is what we are squarely focused on. So them coming and calling us names, I think Ismail Assise has never been elected into office. I have. So I face jabs every day. I've done it for 2 elections and I've won both elections. So if he thinks he can come at me with cheap shots, he's greatly mistaken. Ahmad Ba basically just exposed what they discuss every day is what everybody knows in their hearts. Every politician knows that this movement will grow to become the biggest political platform in this country. And it is because it is not powered by one man. It is not to feed one man's ambition. It's not about personal gratification or self-perpetuation. This is a people's movement to bring meaningful change in Gambian politics through principles and values everybody can subscribe to. We have universal principles that are easy to understand. We want politics of integrity and telling the truth. We want politics of innovation and solving issues. We want politics of equality and pushing away tribalism and being inclusive. So anybody you tell this, they'll say, we completely get it. So I think they understand this will be the force to reckon with in Gambian politics.
A force to be reckoned with in Gambian politics, politics of integrity. Mr. Mayor, throughout our history, Africa in particular, young people have come and sell us all these fanciful ideas. We are innovators, we have ideas, we are developing the country, we care about the people and all that stuff. Yeah, Jammeh was one of them. We saw how it turned out. We've seen what is happening in Senegal right now. The big hope that we had. All of a sudden now we are seeing power struggles. Adama Barrow came to power, selling us what you are saying now, integrity, we respect this thing, we are going to stay for only 3 years, only to test power and something else. You go to multiple African countries, you have the same thing. What makes you and your movement any different from those people?
I totally get it. When people have suspicion, I totally get it that there's been examples that have left a bad taste in people's mouths. But remember, I am one of the few people in these examples that has been tested in public office. I am a second-term mayor who has been with government in my first election and been in opposition and stood my ground against government in my second election, won both rounds. I have basically denied every opportunity to join government for my self-personal interest, even to the positions of vice president of this country. I have pushed away offers to go against my core principles. I have been commissioned and accused of every sort of thing, from conflict of interest to corruption, etc., and gone through an excruciating process for 2 years, and there's nothing found on me. So majority of examples you name are people who have not been tested. Well, I have. So I have seen the good, I have seen the bad. I have a lot of experience on how to do it right. And I am bringing that experience to bear. And I have invited all people to come and contribute as equal partners. And of course, by all means, I invite you here. It's your country. I think all of you are brilliant minds who can have a great impact in the trajectory of this movement and in Gambian politics. So I hope to bring you on board as the newest members of the movement.
Send Pasamba one of those UMC caps.
We'll give you one. Moose, go ahead.
We can start with one.
Follow up to where Pasamba is going with this.
Right.
You do have a lot of supporters, especially even here in the diaspora. But there are also some
Oh,
who are
that was my second question, Moose. It's your turn now.
Yeah, I'm asking it. Can you hear me, Pasamba? Mayor,
I
can you
can
hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, Pasamba.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. Like I was saying, there are a lot of people in the diaspora at home that they're already sold.
Yes.
But you also have a lot of people that are basically calling me saying, bro, Nobi Bumnu Yap, what has he actually done past 8 years?
Right.
Some are saying, look, with the Bensouda government, what you are going to see is nothing different from what we have. He would be the president of the elite, business elite, the political elite. He will surround himself with Nyom Tombong Sedi, Nyom Kemo Bojang. He will be in this bubble. It will be business as usual. Can you speak to these people? In other words, they're saying defulofi dara. Secondly, if you get in there, you will be protecting the few. Why are you different? Please speak to these people, Mayor.
Well, first of all, Sumadefu Dara, I wouldn't be elected with double my vote than the first election. And like I said, I have a track record. I've been mayor for 10 years. There's a lot of buildings, castles in the sky about what type of president I would be if I was ever elected into office. But all these things they say about me, I haven't surrounded myself with business elites as mayor of KMC. As a matter of fact, it's the contrary, it's the opposite. I have supported small business. I have supported the grassroots. I have spent all my time trying to uplift vulnerable youths and women who need support in the marketplace, in the community, etc. And I have done this all under a lot of scrutiny, a lot of fighting and pushback from government. I have said in the 7 years I have been mayor, 5 have been spent literally if fighting with government. 5 years ago in 2021, 4 or 5 years ago, that's when they sent PIU officers to forcefully install a CEO who was found to be wanting. And on top of that, they have started several commissions of inquiry. I have won 2 Supreme Court cases against them and 2 High Court cases against them, and an election, and removed authoritarian laws in local governance, such as the Interim Management Committee. And during all this time, we have made unprecedented strides in local government, even without the legislative amendments that would give me more power, such as bringing comprehensive waste management, which is copied by all councils to date. And still KMC has more waste trucks than all councils in the Gambia combined. We have the most organized dump site that we have protected now by fencing, building infrastructure, and saving Bakote, Manjai, and Dipakunda residents from 4 months or 5 months of burning and constant smoke. We have built the first municipal library, which is now packed every day with students learning, and to the point where there's not enough room inside and they study outside, with the internet cafe, a fully tooled repair cafe, a virtual room, a local language section, and a whole lot of facilities. We have built 8 recreational parks, which have gyms, football fields, basketball courts. We have brought about the first ever comprehensive bylaws in municipal governance that is still not repeated by any council. There's so many to name that it would take too much time. But all of these are achieved under 7 years, and 5 of which were under constant scrutiny and attacks from the government, and we have held our ground. Imagine we had the cooperation and partnership of government. Imagine we had the legislative changes required for local leaders and mayors to be executives so that they can be responsible and accountable for the trajectory of their councils. So all I have to say to those people is we don't mind to be scrutinized, and we expect it. We don't mind to be challenged. We want it. What ultimately this movement is trying to achieve is not even about Mayor Bensouda and his track record. It's not about Mayor Bensouda being president. It's about you. You can be part of this movement if you believe in these principles of integrity, transformation, equality. Come on board. Challenge whoever wants to be the leader of this movement and try to be a flag bearer. We don't want people to sit on the sidelines. We want people to contribute and people to take charge of this movement. So it's not about me, it's about you.
It's not about you, it's about us. Mayo, let's assume 2027.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'm sorry? You are elected president. You are going to inherit what I would call the 2027 budget, just like the one that we are looking at, 2026 budget. What are you going to do? Are you going to take a stab at it? Are you going to change it, or is it just going to be business as usual, cosmetic changes here and there? What would be day one inheriting this budget in 2027, Mayor?
Well, I wouldn't like to get ahead of myself. We have not built a party manifesto or built the proposals we have for the Gambia in the first 100 days, both which we will do. But hypothetically speaking, if I was candidate, I think there's so much waste in Gambian government budgets. I think just, looking at, the easiest target, the president's office, OP. $740 million to run one office in 1 year, where the youth budget is 220 something million. So there's so many areas you can gut. I mean, just look at the convoy of the president. I calculated one day the cars that follow the president around are worth $5 million. Just imagine if you switch from diesel-powered vehicles to electric vehicles, how much wastage you could save. Imagine buying direct and removing so many agencies in between government and service suppliers. Just look at airlines, for example. Why do you need agencies to buy air tickets where you can buy directly from the suppliers? So there's so many areas you can gut. I would get ahead of myself if I were to speak frankly. But austerity measures are something that government should practice. But more so, there should be an economic policy to grow Gambia's economy. There must be digital regime to ensure you get rid of leakages and to reduce corruption within the system. But within the first 100 days with executive power, I believe there's so many things that a sitting president that can do that could, immediately turn government's budget around.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Marong.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Lord Mayor, I heard you said I've been tested and I've delivered. And looking at your background, you were one time a small business owner, and you were affiliated with an insurance company, Takafo, and also you've been the chief executive of KMC. What kind of lessons has that shown you? Because you interface, you hear stories of people who are struggling, everyday average people. What kind of message or what kind of experience that you earn for private sector up to being KMC mayor would you apply or replicate if you become, the leader of a party and ultimately Gambians are able to listen to you to offer you the presidency?
Of KMC, there's a chief executive officer, which actually impedes on my ability to deliver, because by right I should be the chief executive in a normal setting. But I think it's a brilliant question. I was a small business owner. I am still a business owner. I've had a tremendous level of experience in governance before, and especially now, because I was a board secretary, I could see how private sector governance works. And now being a mayor 7 years, I see how public sector works. So I've seen two different worlds. I've seen the parallels, I've seen the differences. I also see how they complement each other and how they need each other for a successful country. But I think what I've learned from both experiences is the most important thing a leader should do is to build a competent team and to ensure that there's a culture of delivery. That has been taken away from us in local government because we can't build our teams. Government hires our workers and we just have to find a way to work with them. But if one became president, I think the priority should be not what you can do, is about what team you can put together to deliver. Because you can't do it alone. You need competence around you, you need capacity, you need an organizational culture and structure to help you deliver on your vision. And of course, there must be monitoring and evaluation. So as you set your KPIs, you must have the ability to also do appraisals and ensure people are hitting their targets. We've seen it by Kagame. One of the things that impresses me about his government is he does not only set KPIs, annually he would meet with senior civil servants and public sector personnel and basically hold them to account to see what they have delivered in their various sectors. So that is one thing missing in Gambia, setting targets and holding people accountable. And I think that is a culture that must be instituted.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Lord Mayor, my other question is: obviously, you know what the Gambia currently is battling with, which is corruption, and it's a outlier up there, and we haven't seen any seriousness in combating that. And it called for concern, and it also called for uh, uh, renewed energy into finding ways how we could mitigate government wastage. My question to you is, how would you approach in terms of all the other reports that are coming in and highlighting massive misappropriation of public funds? What would be your approach or your political party's approach in ensuring that you take these audit reports very seriously and also implement them into the latter part, you know, in terms of following the due process and ensuring that those who are found liable to be held to account?
First of all, I like to quote Lee Kuan Yew, who's arguably one of the greatest leaders ever in the world, and the former Prime Minister of Singapore and the founding Prime Minister of Singapore, who took Singapore from a $500 per capita economy (GDP) to a $50,000 per capita economy (GDP). And one of the things he did was he brought a zero tolerance culture for corruption. And one of his allied ministers, who was one of his best friends, arguably, was caught in $1 million corruption scandal. And he ordered his arrest. Before the police could get there, the guy took a poison pill and killed himself. And Lee Kuan Yew's press conference, he said, I have no pity for the guy. He was my friend, he was an ally, but if I let him go and he could get away with corruption, then anybody could do it. Anybody would do it. So it's about setting examples, it's about being principled, it's about creating a fair system. A thief who breaks into a house in a local community is shouldn't fare any worse than a thief in an office who steals from public coffers, no matter who they are and what their status is. So I think Gambia's governance structure already has checks and balances. It's simply not respected. So Gambia is one country where laws are just not respected and institutions are not allowed to do their work. You have a national audit office, you have a attorney general's chambers, you have a police department that could literally be allowed to do their work. Anybody found wanting should be dealt with by the law. The problem is executive interference. The problem is cover-ups, trying to remove people who are investigating and trying to put fear into officials and not allow them to be independent. But I think, of course, after that, the government could go a lot further by instituting an anti-corruption bill, instituting and establishing an anti-corruption agency as well. I mean, this is not rocket science. It's just ensuring there's accountability. But also, there must be a plan to ensure civil servants and public servants are well paid and ensuring that they're held accountable if they're found wanting. So it's a carrot and stick approach, but it starts from the president's office. It must be taken seriously.
Thank you. Go ahead, Coach.
You carrot on sticks. You mentioned one person that raised my eyebrows, and that is Kagame. I'm not a fan of his. Yes, he has KPIs, but he is very corrupt. He's a tyrant who also changed the constitution to entrench himself. His family, his kids are rich. They form part of the government. Is that the model that you want to copy? Or what is it? Because is this his whole governance system, or because of this a guy
Yeah,
who would eliminate his opponents? They are in jail.
right, right.
He will appoint
So
his
by no,
kids
yeah,
in positions. They are all rich. They were dirt poor, now they are multimillionaires. Even with his KPIs and all that. KPIs for everybody except from him. So is that the model that you'll bring, or
well, no, well, by no means am I saying everything Kagame does is correct, or by no means am I saying we're going to copy his entire model of governance. What I did say was an example of what I saw he did that was good, which is creating KPIs and ensuring you held civil servants to account. Now, with all the other things, like I said, like you said, an authoritarian. We are not. We're in a democratic system. I am a Democrat. I believe in people power, etc. The circumstances that made Kagame who he is are not the circumstances that make me who I am. And of course, these are different countries. But I was just pinpointing an example of where I think Gambia could learn from, Gambia could copy, and we could be very effective. And this is actually standard big business practice. I mean, when you're a CEO, you have line directors or you have managers, you give them targets, you hold them accountable to those targets, and you ensure there's monitoring and evaluation to learn from what mistakes there are, what could be done best, and how things could be improved. I think governments are institutions and they should be run as institutions. Sadly, in Gambia, the president doesn't see himself that he's in competition. We are, as a country, in competition with other nations, especially the ones closest next to us, like Senegal. If Gambia doesn't have good property laws, if Gambia doesn't have FDI would go to Senegal instead of Gambia, and we've already seen it happening. Dubai World, $1 billion deep sea port went to Senegal. So basically all I'm saying is there's lessons around us we can draw from. Just like Kagame, I mentioned Lee Kuan Yew. Lee Kuan Yew to many was a dictator. His circumstances were different, but I think there's lots of great examples we can learn from them. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We just have to draw good examples from around the world through history and through present circumstances and adapt it to our own situation. So that was the reason I drew that example.
thank for that clarification. When you mention those people, it brings something out. But
Sounds
but
fair, isn't it?
uh, whatever. The other question I have, and this is from a friend of over 40
Yeah.
years. We went to high school together. He is crazy like hell. And he has one concern and one question for you, and that is the Serakunda market. He does not like his mother going to the market and buying produce from people who are sitting in dirt, the water. And his question is, what have you done to better the Serakunda market in your 7 years as mayor of KMC?
We've done a great deal to improve the market, to rehabilitate the market. We've built a new road around the market called Latkumbalo Road. We've built a massive modern new shed with about 25 to 30 kiosks that could sit about 300 women. We're currently building the fishmongers shed with state-of-the-art equipment. And for the first time, they're going to have taps, their own septic tank, etc. We have rehabilitated the main market building and expanded it. We've done a great deal for Serakunda market. The problem with Serakunda market is the whole Gambia wants to sell there. And the police are not cooperating. Basically meaning that people sell on the street. We don't have the manpower to move them out. The police don't do much to move them out. So it puts the infrastructure of the market under pressure. There's thousands and thousands of vendors and just hundreds of places. So it's an overwhelmed area. It is an area that is very difficult to manage, but it requires a comprehensive effort both from the local and national governments because we simply don't have the manpower. So we are constantly improving the market facilities, but it's just overwhelmed by the population of people who want to sell there. And I've constantly said, we have enough market space around the municipality, but everybody just wants to be a Serakunda, and that's not possible. And what we see happening is, once the pedestrian walkways are overwhelmed by vendors, once women come to the street and block them and start selling, people don't go inside the market, so vendors inside the market also come out to get a part of the action. So it's like a wild a process that is very hard to break. But we also see the same thing happening in the Bakote fish market. We see the same things even happening outside the KMC in markets like the Coastal Road. It just requires attention of all stakeholders to ensure Gambia is organized in terms of getting enough vendor spaces for people in proprietorship and people who are self-employed because the unvented spaces are very difficult to sell. There's so many illegal sellers.
Thank you.
So Mayor, basically, whether it's the movement or the opposition, they all want to succeed the current government. But this is what the current government is saying. We took over from a dictatorship. We have created an environment of democracy. We have a free press. Look at what is happening in Senegal. They are muzzling the press. We're not doing that. They're saying we have an independent judiciary. They're saying, look at the economy. If you compare us to Senegal, debt to GDP, they are looking at 130%, us 70% and less. They're saying inflation from double digits, we've managed it to single digits. Mayor, do you agree to some of these that the government is putting out there? And how can you make it better? What is wrong with that argument? Maybe it's the delay.
Well, I have to verify the inflation figures and the debt to GDP because after it was small 100%. Yes. So, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Oh, I think there is a serious delay.
Yeah. Is the what you call it? Is your what you call it? Your internet. Is the UMC connection?
It's NPP connection because we're NPP government infrastructure right now.
He was giving out free Wi-Fi when we able to see him. So, but go ahead.
So what's wrong?
When I question infrastructure like that, it's in their time.
Yes, go ahead, Mos.
Yeah. So I heard Musa's question. I don't know whether now I'm more real time. You can hear me real time now.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, I hope there's not a call that comes in because I reverted to regular network so it can be faster. But basically, to Musa's question, these arguments put forward by the NPP or by the government, I would like to confirm some of these numbers and verify them, such as the debt to GDP ratio and the inflation numbers. Because last I checked, debt to GDP was more like 100% than the 70% they would claim. And the 6% they say is inflation. I don't agree with that. These are numbers from the central bank, but in Gambia, people who live here, the basket of goods is increasing almost. It is very, very, very expensive in the Gambia, and most people are priced out of the market. So basically, there are things, of course, we have to agree are much better than the former regime, such as democracy, right? I mean, like we said, we would acknowledge the truth if we saw it. But though I don't agree that this is the doing of the government, I think this is the doing of the population. The population came together to put forward a coalition because we demanded certain changes, including the human rights and freedom of press and the right to express yourself. I don't think that's the doing of the government. I think that's the doing of the voting population who made that change possible. The government should respect the will of the people by bringing in a new constitution to guarantee those rights. They still haven't. And once in a while, when President Barrow gets frustrated, he is known to say that the same laws that were here under Yahya Jammeh are still here, and he could use them. So that is almost a threat to the democracy that everybody fought to get. So I still believe there's a lot to do as far as the democratic space is concerned. Although we all agree we are freer now than before. Secondly, you mentioned that the business environment. Well, I don't see anything getting better with the business environment because employment is not being created. Every year, 13,000 youths are going to the backway journey. 1,650 lose their lives. 1,300 are deported back. We see the same levels of unemployment. I believe last I checked, there was 55% of Gambians live below the poverty line. Formal unemployment was about 30–40%. So the country is in detriment. And I mean, I always say one thing. Gambians are often fond of trying to compete with the worst in the world. Why would you compete with Senegal? I mean, Senegal is not a developed country. It's not the most advanced economy. It still has a lot of poverty. It's still developing, and in a lot of areas, such as Human Development Index, nothing to compete against. I think I would like to hear the government is competing with Botswana, is competing with Morocco, is competing with Namibia, Algeria. These are the middle income status countries of Africa. Government should have a high bar. They should have a big plan for the country, and they should, try to have a vision of ending poverty in Gambia in the shortest period. I think these are the things to aspire to, and not, trying to compete with who's doing worse, Gambia or Senegal.
Interesting. Mayor, I see that time is really a very lavagaude. But now the question that we're all talking about winning, and that brings me to coalition building. You're not going to ask one single Gambian that wouldn't tell you, bro, opposition Bidal, if they don't come together, Barrow will be re-elected. And everybody is saying that, political observers, and I've heard your answer when you were on Garme. Now, and you talked about you're looking at a coalition, like-minded parties agreeing on policies and things of that nature. But there is always going to be this big elephant in the room, really. And that is going to be who is going to lead any potential coalition. Would you subscribe to a process with all these other parties? Everything is said and done, going through the process. Whoever comes out of it, you will throw your support behind that individual, whatever the process is. Or do you think, what's your take?
Well, first of all, I believe that Barrow could be removed without a coalition. I just think that the opposition party that should do that should build a formidable force, should ensure that they are well resourced and have highly capable people and have a great strategy at hand. However, I also believe in partnerships. I also believe in coalition building if you're aligned on principles and values. But I don't believe that you should create a coalition just for the sake of removing a president. I believe you should build a coalition for the sake of bringing better and good governance. I mean, what's the point of removing Barrow just to bring anybody else who might perform worse than Barrow? I think the idea is we UMC believe that we have the best talent, we have the best governance guys, and we would attract the right policies to change this country. However, if we see like-minded parties, if we see parties who align with us on principles, we are not crazy that one person from us must lead by and force. If we align with somebody on principle and there's a democratic process that puts somebody else in the driving seat. As far as we believe in you, we don't mind you leading. However, I want to reiterate, I don't think coalitions should be built just for the sake of removing a president. I think they should be built for the sake of bringing sustainable, lasting, forward-thinking governance in Gambia.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Brother Marong.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Lord Mayor, the conversation goes in and they hear, there you go, they say, oh, Lord Mayor is from a privileged family. Can you explain your upbringing? And if they say privilege, they tag you as an elitist, very disconnect with the local folks in the rural Gambia. And I want you to take this moment and explain to folks what your upbringing is like, your family structure, and lessons learned from everyday Gambians, and how would you go about supporting them or resolving their day-to-day issues.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. You froze for a minute.
Yeah, so first of all, I want to address one thing. I don't think urban Gambia is any much richer than rural Gambia. In many aspects, urban Gambians are struggling more than rural Gambians because cost of living is very high. Urban poverty is worse in certain cases than rural poverty because here there's less social safety nets. I mean, a lot of people are struggling. Rent is high, cost of living is high, joblessness is detrimental if you don't have it, if you don't have a good paying job. So if you could convince urban Gambians to elect you twice, of course you can elect rural Gambians to elect you, because for the most part we are struggling with the same things, whether be it in Basse, whether be in Jarasoma, in Nyamina, in Nyanija, or in Joshua or Ibo Town. So basically I think the voter population is largely the same. This issue that there's elites in Gambia, well, if they are, I'm certainly not one of them. My day-to-day is 99% with Gambians who are struggling and figuring out how to help them. Now, in terms of my family background, my father, of course, was born in Kuntawur to Nanonding Jawara, who had, she was Sadauda's sister. When my dad was born, of course, pre-independence, he lived in Kuntawur for a very long time and went to Fulakunda School. And then he moved to St. Augustine's High School. And that's, where he was able to try and work in government civil service and rose to the level of permanent secretary. My mother started to two parents. One was Mariama Jamme. She used to sell porridge in the streets of Bakau. And then her father was Mr. Alaji Sehu Drame, who was a mason. And they basically raised her. She was the first educated in her family, went to Bakau School, and later went to Gambia High School, and then later went to Nigeria to study and came back as a civil servant. So we were raised in fairly modest beginnings. We started in Fajara, of course. They lived in Bakau first, and then they moved to Fajara, where I was born. And then I went to Marina International School. I never felt like I was privileged or rich. I walked to school from our house. It was not very far. It's about 2 to 3 kilometers. And, sometimes we get a ride back, but most times we walk to school and back. And by the time I graduated, I was lucky enough to go to studies in Canada. Privilege, I would consider that a privilege. Most Gambians don't have that opportunity. And when I went there, I was working to pay my rent and to pay my way. I started in 2018. Sorry, by the age of 18, I started my first job as a painter. My first job was working for a company called College Pro Painters. I was being paid $7.50 an hour. I was painting to pay my rent and to make my food. I rode the bus every day, in harsh, snowy conditions, minus 40 degrees sometimes, and that's how I was making a living. And then later in the winter months, I worked as a school DJ. That's how I got paid, as a school DJ at the
Yeah.
school radio station.
DJ Talib.
And yeah, I was a rapper when I was 13.
Oh, you got a rap before
This
you.
is
You
this is
are
not a joke. I was known as T-Weed. I was part of a rap group. So I became a school DJ in university, and then the following month I said, look, I was basically hand to mouth in my first 6 months in Canada, and actually I was so broke one winter. I didn't know what to do. So I went into my suitcase and I found dry porridge that my grandma had packed for me, mono rui. So I had to try to survive on that for at least the next 2 months. Many people would not believe, but I became a very good expert in cooking mono, and I had to live on that. One of my friends from college teases me to date. Minadam de duga si free jambi, di sacha sausage jambi, agnenami, because I missed eating meat for so long. Then the next summer, I decided that I wanted to make more money. So I approached my painting company and asked them if there was any possibility that I can get a franchise, to basically start a painting business. And they offered me a franchise, an opportunity to start a College Pro Painters franchise. And that was my first business at the age of 19. So I started out with the franchise. They gave me a small loan. I hired about 12 painters. One of them was 40 years old. His name was Dale. And that was one of my best summer months in Canada. I generated $200,000 in income in 4 months in that summer months of painting. And that was my start to business. So while I was going to university, there must have been a company they called R Cubed, Reduce, Reuse, Recycle. And my job there was to find recycled furniture, rehabilitate it, and resell it. So that was my third business. But Buma Jisene, the business was going to a point, it was affecting my grades and my ability to complete university. I went back to having a regular job. I became a waste collector in a company called 1-800 Got Junk. So it paid good money, but it was a hard job. It was around waste management. And that was then my highest ever paying job. And I worked there after hours, and I went to school to pay my way. And when I graduated, I became a market analyst for a medical device company. Then I decided, look, my brothers are coming back to the Gambia. I want to come back to the Gambia. So I made a decision. I came back to Gambia with no plan, no idea what to do, and just taking a risk. So woman I asked around. They said I could work in insurance for a while I figured what I wanted to do. Because I had also once had a temporary job at an insurance company as an insurance broker in Canada. So I started working at an insurance company for 2 years. And then I decided that's not what I wanted to do. So money Dama start business in Banjul. So I took a small loan from my brother and started a diaper company in 2014. I didn't have a car. Damajil taxi be Banjul every day for almost 6 months. And then I bought a bicycle in Banjul. So Damajil bicycle, I'll go around Tefes, ferries, my one is Masampulzi. So I started a business with almost zero sales in my first year and grew it to 40 employees. And, I don't want to say the figure, but, I grew it step by step. I did everything, parking, loading, delivery. And I slowly built a business model for over 3 years and became the biggest diaper company in Gambia. And now we're into cars, we're into, tomato paste, we're into sanitary products, etc. And these were painstaking measures I did to build in a slow, painful process. And I even developed respiratory problems because of packing in the warehouse. So I have a knack for challenges and starting new things. So ben aluminium man kuma am si company bi mi ngi tudda kii naka ma mi ne ma Talib da nga ñemeñ coono de ma ne ko lu xew mi ne ma you were comfortable in Canada and you decided to come back to Gambia and start working at an insurance company. Mi ne nga dem ba rise insurance company nga bàyyi foofu nga start diaper business nga bàyyi diaper business bi nga bëgg a ñëw dugg politics mi ne ma yow ñemeñ nga coono de you know and now the story is you leave an established party, you rise to the very top, and then now you want to start a movement from scratch. So, I keep moving, I keep following my conviction, I keep following my passion. I'm not afraid of challenges, I'm not afraid to roll my sleeves. And I believe in building things. I really believe in building things. And this is the same passion I hope one day we could bring to building the Gambia.
Thank you, Lord Mayo. Thank you. Lord Mayo, my other question is, we all know, the current environment. We have business folks who have been, in the system. They jump from one government to another. They are very, very resistful. They resist for change. There are political, folks within the mix too, who jump from one area to align themselves with any newcomer that is coming into the political space. And my question to you is, what would be different, and what controls would you put in place to ensure that equity? Because somehow the same business that thrived on the Jammeh are the same business owners that are thriving under borough government in terms of contracts and everything. What would you ensure, especially for females, minorities?
That's a very good question.
I try to be fair and balanced, man.
No, you are fair and you are independent.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach. Appreciate that.
I know that.
I didn't see Boy Fatty Day. I don't know what happened.
He is here carrying on.
He's there.
But I think he's supposed to. We've elapsed by 8 minutes. So
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's it for me. So
when he comes back, so that at least.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's the phone call. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So Lord Mayor, I don't know whether you heard my question.
Yeah, I heard it before it cut out.
Okay, sounds good.
So I just came from South Africa 2 months ago, and I learned a new word. It's called the tenderpreneur.
The tenderpreneur.
Yes. So in South Africa, they have a big problem called the tenderpreneur. These are entrepreneurs that align with government, and all they specialize in is how to win tenders by giving officials kickbacks. So there was a big scandal when I was in South Africa about a month ago about a tenderpreneur that was caught in a government probe with the minister of police. So it was big news in South Africa, and there was videos of them seizing Ferraris and Lamborghinis from this particular tenderpreneur's house. So I think in terms of Gambian government, I think it's just about procurement policy. There's not a lot of sense in how procurement is done. And there's a lot of savings that could be made by just buying direct. In your previous question, I did mention about agency. One of the biggest ways people make money from the Gambian government that, takes away from the taxpayer and causes a lot of inflation is agency. There's a lot of unnecessary agency. We even saw that when we came into KMC. There was initially what we call briefcase vendors. All they do is they go to existing companies, take their invoices there, inflate the cost, and come to the procurement of the institution and just give a kickback and be awarded the contract. And that just, inflates cost and takes away from the taxpayer. And a lot of that is happening in government. So the issue of, agency is something that should be dealt with. I think if government is to buy direct, they should buy from local manufacturers. If it's furniture, for example, Why should government buy imported furniture when there's so many carpenters around? Just buy from the local carpenters, and then there's no need to have an agent or an importer selling you these types of things. In areas where government has to buy from the manufacturer, buy from the manufacturer direct. One thing I don't understand is why there's no government credit cards or just wire the money and buy from the source. That would cut out so many millions and billions of wasted funds that could be redirected to education, redirected to youths and healthcare. So there's a lot of billions wasted because of agency and truth entrepreneurs. So the way to fix that is just smart, wise government policy. So the issue of, you know, people jumping party to party for favors. We were discussing it at the movement the other day. We said we never want to have a ceremony where we celebrate cross carpeting. It makes absolutely no sense. Join us if you believe in us, leave if you don't. I mean, why do we have to celebrate somebody ditching a political party and coming to us? If you believe in it, there's no celebration in that. You should just join. So I think one of the things that is done often in Gambian politics is celebrating cross carpeters. And just the other day, we had a laugh at the movement because on Tuesday, we saw President Barrow in Bundung celebrating 500 people cross carpeting from other parties. Then we saw UDP in, what do you call it, Jambanjeli, celebrating 500 people joining UDP. And we joked and we said, we hope it's not the same 500 people moving up and down in 1 week. And the number is always 500, So we said, look, I am guilty for this. When I was in UDP, I was the first to grab somebody's hand to cross carpet them. But as we look at politics and the games around it, we think it's just makes absolutely no sense. Join us if you believe in it. There's no need to celebrate, and leave if you don't. We believe politics should be organic, should be about belief. It should be about direction. So this is some of the things we want to bring in terms of changing politics in Gambia.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Appreciate
Mr.
it.
Mayor, I know your team wanted you an hour, so I'm just going to ask the last question because I'm the only one from KM here. And it's
But I have an important question though from somebody else.
Okay. Well, just ask them whether they have, because they had so. But let me ask this question. I am from KM, born and raised. I am a Serakunda guy through and through, Serakunda West. This is your last term, the last opportunity that you have to help us celebrate Gambians from Serakunda who've done great things. We have Solo Sendeng, Serakunda. We have Peter Bono Johnson, coach of the national team, coach of Serakunda West, played Serakunda West, did everything Serakunda West. We had Mbad Job, the Birinjai of basketball. Serakunda. These are all people
from Haddington. You stealing?
Lived all his life in Serakunda, who've passed away. And what we are saying is, and I've had this conversation with you before, when shall we start seeing, let's say, the youth monument, which is controlled, I believe, by KMC, named Solo Sendeng Square, Serakunda West Stadium, maybe Peter Bono Johnson Stadium, and the basketball court that you guys built recently, Mbad Job, so that at least we will start this culture of celebrating our people who have given so much to our community. Because the three people that I've mentioned, and there are others, who've done tremendously well. The AA guys, the Jibu Giants and OJ Jalos, these are all, you can name them. But when can we start seeing the projects that you have and say, you know what, the Serakunda market, let's name it after Jibu Jan because it was next to his house or something like that, at least to give people this sense of pride.
Yeah, you've asked me this before. Actually, just last week, Tamon Sedi was telling me Solo Sandeng's birthday is January 1st, which is New Year's Day. And this is something that we are considering very deeply. I mean, it's something we've discussed over the years, but we would like to do several of them. There's a suggestion that even the library should be named after Master Danso. So there's a lot of talk around that, but certainly before I leave is something that I want as part of my legacy is to have certain monuments named after heroes from the KMC. And this is something that I will want to work with you personally as well, since you have such a strong knowledge. although you seem a bit biased towards Serakunda, I would ask you to think of other
Exactly.
areas as well in KMC. but I think certainly it's something that needs to be done. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Mayor, I guess this would be the last question, and I'm going to do it a double whammy because somebody wants me to ask this. They're saying, people with disability, what have you done for them in KMC? People with disability. The other question is, all the parties are talking about the youth vote, the youth vote, the youth vote, as if the youths are kind of monolithic group. You have youths that are from their formative years, maybe UDP, you have youths that are DOI, you have youths that are, so youths are not necessarily monolithic, but when you listen to UMC, the way they say it as if the youth vote, that's what they're actually going after. So can you kind of comment on that with this whole thing called the youth vote? But again, the question from that lady was about what Talib has done for people with disability.
Right. So the disability question is a great question. We are the first ever area council I'm the first ever mayor to nominate somebody representing people who are differently abled. The first person I nominated was Ibrahim Akolli, who went to the USA for treatment, and he was replaced by Amomodu Bahum. And then we sort of institutionalized their representation through our health committee. And because of their influence, we built wheelchair access for our library. And in all our buildings now, we incorporate wheelchair access. Their influence has been great on our municipality, and it continues to be there. We want to also, hopefully, within UMC, create policies around people who are differently able, on how we can get them better represented, and how government buildings and government infrastructure could take them into consideration, because they are an important constituent within the Gambia. And like I said, we don't say they're disabled, we say they're differently abled. Within KMC also, we've hired quite a few of them who work in different aspects of administration within KMC as well. So we've set the pace. I think we've done unprecedented things for them, which other councils are mirroring. And this is what we want to encourage. On the youth issue, youths are certainly not one voting bloc. However, they are the majority of Gambians and would constitute majority of voters in this coming election. As much as they belong to political parties, youth are more independent minded. Most of them would vote for a different candidate, even if they belong to a party, if they felt that candidate better spoke to the aspirations of youth. But majority of youths are also not aligned. Most of them are unregistered voters. A lot of them are going to be first-time voters. A lot of them are independent voters. So I think, as far as voting blocks are concerned, they're the block that is not aligned mostly to any political party. And even if they're aligned, they could be talked to and reasoned to, because most of them agree that this country has neglected the youth population, and they have literally been left to go astray. Today, if you go through the painstaking studies of high school and then make it to university, if you don't drop out, you come out, there's no work waiting for you. If you want to do skills trade, or you want to be involved in any particular skill, there's no support to set up your own atelier or set up your own workshop. If you're in the farm, you're even more neglected. So that's why a lot of them are discouraged. They felt like they're targets of the police. All government is focused on is catching them on drugs, or jailing them for being on the street, or catching them for crimes, but nobody is thinking about how to uplift them. That's why in my time as mayor, we spent a lot of resources on meeting them where they engage, such as artists, such as sports. Now we're even focused on returnees. So I feel that the UMC will get majority support of the youth, but we really want, in this country, what we really want is a youth policy.
Yeah. So I think, Pasamba, good interview, definitely. From a time management standpoint, and obviously we have few hiccups. For Nayangi on mute day, Pop Samba.
Yeah, Hamga, because decorum. So sometimes I just, respect, my fellow. No, but when you're saying, I think it's a good question, good interview, and this is what we intend to do. We bring people here, we ask them questions. But
Yeah.
so, yeah, Fogna, he's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a local call, yeah.
A local call. Everybody is calling, trying to
But
join.
anyway, so we'll just allow, after you're done, you can just say your last words on this
Right.
program, and so that we can allow you to go and do your thing.
Right. So basically, what we will do in UMC is create a youth policy, and it's going to be a major part of our plans, our proposals, our manifesto, and we will create town hall style events where we will communicate it directly to the youths and hear their feedback and get challenged on some of our ideas. And that's what we want. We are not afraid to not show up and hide behind the scenes. We want to engage. We want to be challenged by the youths. We want a records challenge individually and UMC challenge to see if it would be any different, because we want to be seen as a platform that is for everybody and people help create, and youths are going to form a major part of that.
Thank you. If you have any closing remarks.
Well, just to thank you guys for the wonderful work you've been doing for so long. You've interviewed me with many hats, and today it's the future is ours hat, and that is of the UMC. And like I said, this work you're doing is very important, and we want as many opportunities as this to sort of preach what we are about, what changes we believe we'll bring. And we want, all of you guys to help promote decent politics, a politics of change, because this country desperately, badly needs a change for the better. But aside from that, thank you so much for having me on today.
Oh, thank you.
And we thank you and thank your team definitely for according us this opportunity. And we look forward to, once you are registered, I don't know what UMC is going to be when you register your political party, unless that's going to be the name. And maybe when your manifesto is out, so that we'll be able to interrogate that and
Absolutely.
give you an opportunity, or the Gambian people, to know what. But with that, we thank you so very much for the opportunity, and we apologize for keeping you here. I think 20 minutes longer than was planned. So tell Bintu I am sorry. What blame Musajan?
So, Mayor Bensouda, thank you very much for coming in. So, listening to you, it looks like you love music since back in the days, and definitely, I like that move when Wally Sheikh came in, and you were just, I think Kasal put it on Facebook once.
Well,
I say, hey, you know what? The Mayo is making the right move, man. That dance,
as long as you are not a Liverpool or Arsenal fan, you're good. If you are any one of those, thank you very much. You are a smart guy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Hi, guys.
Thank you very much. Pop Samba.
Yes, most like I was saying, this is the whole objective, and we'll be having many more of this. We'll be expecting to have a big one in 2 weeks, not next Sunday. Next Sunday we'll work on somebody else to bring them here, but we'll have. And what we want to do here, and for people to understand, we are not interested in keep up Sindalaya am Golola. We want to come here, bring people here, and pick their brains on what needs to happen to our country. How do we move forward? We are not here to settle anybody's cause. We're here to ask questions that are relevant to the challenges that our country faces. And the government, we've tried to get Adama Barrow. Somebody was asking, have you ever tried Adama Barrow? I said, we have tried. We've even offered to go to the Gambia and interview him during, I think it was the last holiday or so.
Right.
And one thing we can guarantee anybody that comes here, and that has been the trademark of this show, which will be 10 years next year. For 9 years, we've never disrespected anybody on this platform. You come, we ask you questions. Sometimes it may get heated, debate, and then that's just what it is. Oh, we want to thank Talib. We want to thank the team. We want to thank everybody who watched. And then, Father Moose, ak sa cap bi. Since buñ la hen ak ne yaa ngi look young with the cap, you try to make it nakala to
Why is my cap an issue? Yangi salsa nakalago guy doyidi oye. Somebody said that, and I didn't say a word.
Suma subuyabi. Man ma karamba ko mo. Ak Swaibu Ture.
Yeah, I mean, really, I thought it was a very good interview, and I think it went well. I don't think people that really support the UMC and the party, they must be very proud. Talib knows what he's talking about. He's grounded in some of the things that he believes in. And and it shows, really. Anytime he's interviewed, I think he speaks his mind. Is he a politician? Absolutely. Is he ambitious? Absolutely ambitious. I don't think anyone will ever be elected leader without being ambitious. I can guarantee you that. Really.
No, I'm really offended.
What?
Tarawale give you 92% and give me 88. Mama, sorry. What did Musa do?
I'm beginning suspicious about Mr. Tarawale.
No.
Coach, I think Mr. Tarawale is part of UMC, man.
Yeah. I think that what he gave Talib 75. So what he's doing is like, I don't want to show my this thing. So let me just, whatever I was giving Talib, let me give it to Musa. But that's okay.
That's okay, man.
No, and I'm hoping that our politics is really going to evolve. The toxicity and again, people are going to support different candidates for different reasons. But Fognane, the idea of attacking people's motivation and then insulting people, I don't think it really helps. I don't even think I read something from Karamba. And he's basically saying there is no way you are going to convince anyone by being belligerent or going after them. And it's true. It doesn't make sense. In Gambia, we have pride here and there because it's a small community. And that's what makes it very difficult sometimes. I think even if Pasamba supports Doi, I cannot sit here and question Pasamba's member.
Thank you.
Anyone can support whoever you want. I think what we need to do is to really stop questioning people's motivation, really. And let's agree to disagree. Let's deal with the issues as they are. Because when everything is said and done, we have all these politicians who never get promise. We see, Pasamba, you did say that, what we're witnessing in Senegal. There are people that are saying whatever they voted for is not what they got. There are people who think that Sonko is the best thing since sliced bread. But I think let's just anchor our disagreement, with civility and at least decency. But just going out there and attacking people. I don't want to talk about the way
No. Well, see that Kasa mom. Now Kasa is giving you 95%, is giving you 2.5%.
That's my lady from Atlanta.
Yeah, you're the Atlanta. Sarian, you also have 2.5%, but know
what? Yes, Kasa, thank you very much. I know where to catch you. Yeah, it's all good, Kasa. I'm gonna call Khadija and lodge my complaint to her. So no problem.
And Nene is pushing it. Now she's asking me to say Nagala to the HE to go to address him as HE.
But yeah.
I saw Mangi Suma photography Tombong, and you know what's interesting most? When I was growing up, I'm got Tombong and he into politics and all that stuff. So they said after Tombong left and came to the United States. Yeah. And the funny thing is it opened the doors for a lot of us to also follow him here.
Yeah.
And I remember Pabilola from Neka we Tombong went away. So yeah, he did a great thing with us, in fact he made education sexy for us. Yeah. That makes sense. Where because he was this smart guy at Nusrat and then went to Gambia High School. No, sorry, Astaghfirullah. St. Augustine's. To borrow from them. But it's good to see him here on the program. But anyway.
Yeah, Tombong is somebody that I know very, very, very well. We grew up in Kaur together, primary school, and humble.
I didn't want to go there, but go ahead.
I'm telling you. And look, what you see is what you get, even his politics. Really. I mean, Tumbo Gatel, even here when he was in Washington, he started especially the organization association in Washington. I mean, he's one of the people that kind of, with Osmenga, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
Before you got there. So Tombong Mom, yes, without a doubt, definitely. And he's a workaholic. I mean, I think the movement should be very, very, very proud having somebody like Tombong.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you that. I mean,
he's a serious guy.
He will definitely put in the effort, and he believes what he believes in. Bepare is courageous, Bepare ragalut. Really. I mean, he definitely has what it takes. Right. No doubt, no doubt. But good interview. So you said in 2 Saturdays we'll have another
big one. It's going to be big. I'm working on it, and it's going to be the Sunday, Thanksgiving Sunday.
Yeah,
so it's expected to borrow from Trump. Huge, So, but we'll try to bring all the other leaders here before the year ends, so that at least we'll have that conversation. We have to elevate the conversation.
It would be nice to have President Barrow.
So maybe we'll send you to Gambia. You and Sarian can go, because maybe they don't want me in that interview.
Why?
You guys can do justice to it. Small 2 weeks it was 2 weeks that I said I wasn't going to say anything about them.
You've been saying bad things about them.
I've not said bad. I just responded to my boy, Dr. Cisse. I've not even mentioned Barrow's name. So,
Yeah.
That was a good interview. So I think as you all said, we need to elevate the conversation. And as I was telling someone, I said we talk about all these problems that Gambians face on daily basis, but we kind of mirror the conversation to personality, and I think it's very, very troubling. Someone wants to move on, let him move on. Sell your agenda, persuade people. And Karamba, I seen Karamba wrote this many times.
Yes.
Attacking people, their personality, their background. Some of us, we meet on Facebook. You don't have a clue or the values that person stood for and the contribution that person make until today. And I've seen a lot of people do that. And sometimes I ignore, because those people, they don't define who you are. You don't need no validation from them. Absolutely zero. And, Musa, the past couple of weeks, you've been on the crossfire. Yeah. Some people went on TikTok and say stuff that is just unfounded. Yeah. Okay? Draw your wife into... Why should politics be like that? Yeah. I mean, it's so mundane, that we bring the conversation. Gambia has a lot of issues. And if you are not thinking post 2026, and you got these folks, you got Jammeh out there saying he's going to come, he's resident, there is no control in place. They empowered themselves. They went out there to clean, anticipating that he's going to come back. But you kind of get the conversation married to attack people, insulting people, and that. I think it's very, very unfair. Challenge people, talk about policies, how we could better Gambia. I think the current status quo is unsustainable, and it's gonna get worse past December 2nd. So you have to be careful. At the end of the day, we are all brothers and sisters. We can disagree without being disagreeable. At the end of the day, when we meet, we shake hands, we share pleasantries, but it doesn't have to be personal. You don't have to hate each other just because of politics, right? You don't say foul words to people because you disagree with them. I don't think so. And it's a losing strategy. And I think what I took out of Karamba's overarching message is, let's be conciliatory and let's be cordial in our conversation. You persuade people to your side only by persuasion, saying that, hey, I have a better vision, I have a better policy, and if you give me a chance, I will offer much more than what we are in. And I think that should be the mantle That's what we should all emulate. Gambia has a lot of issues. You got a dictator, 22 years. He killed a lot of people. Still now they are trying to find the modalities and the formula to implement the final TRRC recommendation. You're not talking about that. You can't talk about the security threat that posed. And I don't even know why Barrow keep going out there and speaking on that. There is no controls in place. I thought the commission sees Gambia's resident in Kanilai. Why are they even going out there and having access to that place, camping out, give speeches and all that stuff, and then saying that they're going to clean that place up? Why do we have someone or a team in place to guard that place to ensure that, no, this man cannot come back here like that? Okay, but if you're sending mixed message, I have permission. What are you doing? I mean, I've seen a lot of enthusiastic folks who are out there in that compound who are hell bent in saying that if you want to stop him, we're all gonna die. I don't know why they are not interviewing them and to ensure that why they came to that conclusion.
Really, you would never die. you no. But sorry, I'm coming to what you were saying because I'm glad you mentioned the Musa. I think Musa has become a very soft target.
And I don't know why. What did I do?
I think once you were accused of on finance, first lady. And I told people, you know what? Jekari first lady was working for you, renting your properties. I don't know how people just jump and say, you know what, we're just going to conjure up this nonsense of Musa Jang bule ko fale ko kuno ko gis nonu mom jabaram lale dem balel fi nambi holambi so mo jabar je ko amé. You know what? Hey, even if that is the case, so what? The guy has a great job, makes good money. I wish I had Musa Jang's money, and Musa Jang's salary. Key boss lade. You should go to his job and see how they salute him. So
more interesting, more name. What did because I kept asking myself, what did I do wrong? I mean, in terms of I have never in my life called anyone a tribalist. Never. Or question their motivation. I would not go there because for me, that is ignorant. Seriously, I have never disrespected any leader. Never. I've never done that. At least I try not to. So for somebody, all I did was I said, I'm supporting UMC and Talib Ahmed Bensouda, and I have my reasons, just like any other Gambian. Manobumoko. The reason why I support him is very simple. I see the future of our country in the hands of young people who is well experienced, and I always couch it, I believe he can win. This brother needs to be given a chance. More than anything else, seriously. I mean, I don't know whether he's going to deliver the goods or not. I have absolutely no idea. But I've also seen him, the way he was scrutinized after 8 years being a public official. Interman, what I heard and what I saw, Doinama, this guy has the character. That's just so it has nothing to do with not liking this person or liking that person. The amount of respect that I have for Khalifa Salah, oh my God. I think he's one of the most honest person with integrity. I know that for a fact. And someone asked me, you're not Khalifa. And I've always told you this. I think it will be difficult for Khalifa to win. That's just what it is. So for people to, TikTok and then you just make up stuff. I mean, for me, it doesn't really hurt me. Basamba, for 15 years, we are fighting Jambi. We're putting our life on the line. You seriously believe calling me a tribalist or calling me that or calling me that?
Balekat. No, not Balekat.
Yeah, you think that is going to stop me? It's not going to work.
No, let me tell you. This is what I'm going to tell them for free. If you need money, man, just come to Musa. He's the money man. Believe me. No, listen, and people don't know. Like I was telling somebody, you and Mr. Dabo have a very, very cordial relationship. And wherever Mr. Dabo stands and you stand there, he will say great things about you. You do not have to be in the same political party with somebody.
No. And when I say Mr. Dabo would win, that's what gets me in trouble. But I say that for a whole lot of people. Last year, I went to Angente. A friend of mine had a baby. apparently. Mr. Dabo was there. So when I first walked in, I expect to go on for but afterwards I realized that he's related to them as well. And this is a friend of mine. We grew up together. So at some point, they gave me the mic to speak. And the first thing that came to my mind is to talk about him and what he has done. In public, this was in the Gambia, in Kersering.
Yeah.
Immediately, I get out in Gentebirek. Ibrahim Adiba called me, hey, Papi, he ran into you. You know, and that blah, 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 blah. There is no point that I will meet Mr. Dabo and not saying his sacrifice and what he has done. Musumako disrespect. Absolutely false. Now, I'm supporting UMC and Talib Bensouda. That doesn't mean I disrespect the man. No, I mean, there are other parties too now. There is Halifa Salah, Doi. There is.
Yeah, man, I am hot. My feelings are hot.
There are several parties that are out there that I could have supported, and that is to be expected. Is very funny. Sometimes you just like the person. Tommy Adama Momel. You can't sit here and judge me. Sariang is supporting UDP. Oh, Sariang is a Mandinka, he's Badibunka. Oh, he's a tribalist. That is dumb. That's ignorant. You can't do that. We can all question each other's motivation. You see, and in the sky is the limit. What we can do is disagree with us. For me, this interview, I mean, you know, my approach was always Pasamba. Even when you told me, I'm like, call him. I didn't even want to be the ones calling or doing the negotiation. For me,
actually, man, I have a better reach than you anyway. So
this platform, I will never compromise it for anything because we put in 10 years, invest 10 years to make sure. So this platform means a lot to us. So don't go compromise like because of Talib Bensouda or anybody else for that matter. Don't go def. And we're not going to disrespect anyone either. We try not to. And I want to explain something. People didn't see the comments. We were not putting them up. We got a lot of calls from people saying we should maybe we should revisit the idea of putting the comments. The person that does that is me. I'm the one who has to control to put comments. And I try my level best to put every comment there, even the ones that are critical of me. But the decision was made, you know what, moving forward, we don't want to put the comments. You can make your comments and people can read them. But you didn't go def, how to call it? Yes. Chitikabi. That we will avoid doing that. I mean, it could be seen as bias, and that is why we stopped doing that. I mean, again, this program belongs to you guys. When people give us feedbacks and say, why don't you guys consider this or that? We will look into it and we will acquiesce and make those changes.
It's always very difficult to also, you know, make the decision as to what is a derogatory language or not. And you don't also want to have your guest here and then Musa Jengai interview Musa Jeng and people are calling him a thief. And you are the one interview, you are putting that up there, Sibopam. So, you know, we pay attention to the comments. We take questions from there to ask. And that's just what it is. Because sometimes the insults are too many. You may mistakenly, sir. And Musa Magetla. So sometimes if I mistakenly put a comment, I'll have to call you and say, hey, can you please put that thing down? I did Bible, sir. You know. So if you have this whole person, you know, controlling the thing, that's where you have a problem.
I want to respond to Abu Bakar, which is a fair. He said that I'll praise Mr. Dabo, but then I will come and say he cannot win. Or I will say he cannot unite. Look, like I said, we are going to be critical of Mr. Dabo like anybody else. That I said was, Mr. Dabo is he's the leader, the Secretary General of the UDP. I think it's fair game to question the fact that he wasn't able to unite the party. I mean, that's a fair criticism. That doesn't mean that you're disrespecting the person. At least I don't think so. I'm not demeaning him. That's not being demeaning. I mean, you can come back and say, wait a minute, no, it is not about that. And then maybe if Mr. Dabo comes, I'm going to ask him that question. It doesn't mean I'm demeaning him. Or whether Mr. Dabo can win. That doesn't mean I'm demeaning him. There are a lot of people that cannot win. I'm telling you. So Abu Bakar maybe, I don't know, you see that as demeaning or being disrespectful. But if we don't question our leaders, just like we will question President Barrow or anybody else for that matter, we even question Khalifa Saleh, all of them. You are a public official, people are going to question what they think these are your Achilles heels or your weaknesses. And it's the duty of that person to say, no, wait a minute, no, you don't judge me by that. So I don't know. I mean, that cannot be seen as...
Talking about Mr. Dawa, most of the new people a little bit. I'm going his interview with Garme, I said it was good, but I think the best interview that he has given for a very long time was the one with Peter Gomez.
Exactly.
Because I've not heard Mr. Dabo that policy focused.
Absolutely.
As that interview was. In fact, I spoke to him after that and told him, I think it was a wonderful interview. Just like Talib's interview with Garme, I texted him and say, if you do great interviews, I have a problem reaching out and say, that was a good interview. Because I think what Hussein, especially the way he discussed the diaspora.
Yes.
And the role that the diaspora can play. You listen to that, you look at somebody who was very thoughtful. It was an idea that he thought about. In fact, talk about Megabank, how that could have been done. Diaspora investment and all that stuff cannot just be used for new living remittances and their participation. Even talking about removing these restrictions, what do they call the residency requirement?
Residency requirement
to participate, and also using Al-Baradi as an example.
Yes,
and I think to me that was one of the best interviews that Mr. Dabo had given, particularly, especially from a policy standpoint. And one thing that I also liked about the interview was how he refused to be drawn into, again, this Nakalatura.
Exactly.
Wow. And say, listen, ñaar dem na ñaar ñew, and obena dem na ñaar ñew, and you just move on to that. And I think definitely we have to be able to elevate the conversation, because if this opposition want to be stuck into on this UDP, this DOI, this movement, guess what? There is only one person who is winning, and he has the bully pulpit. Yes. While you're talking about that, he's talking about other things. But I think,
I see that Meet the People's Tour in Basse, in CRR. Like, the opposition, they better get their act together. Because I'm telling you, to defeat that juggernaut, it ain't going to be a walk in the park. Seriously. And these people are willing to do whatever it takes to win. And Nyun Tamit, and when I say Nyun, I'm in the opposition. I want to see change. I want to say Tata to Nyom Sidi Njai. I want to see Tata to Nyom Dr. Sise. I really want to see other people to come in. And for me, that will consolidate our democracy. I seriously do believe that. And again, to respond to, I have always said, nay, Mr. Dabo will make a great president. I have always said that. I've always said that. That I do believe, after being in it for the past 30, 40 years, what the man has done, he has the character. I always poo-poo this idea that he's too old to be president. I think it's nonsense when you listen to him. And I think he's up there in age with the experience and knowing exactly what the Gambian people want. I think he will be able to govern. I always said, but can he win? That has always been my analysis. It was always based on that. And nobody can intimidate me. Really, I mean, I'm too old to be intimidated, and nobody is paying me to come on this platform to say anything because I believe in them. These are the things that I believe in. I believe in to be fair to people. I will respect everyone. And of course, I would want people to reciprocate that. But when you just go out there and lie and make up stories, that don't bother me one bit.
So don't about it.
First of all, this guy is somebody from Banjul. And I don't even want my wife to hear that because she's always on my case. my indi yabate bi smoko and indigo to the family because I'm out there. So you know how that is.
Oh yeah.
They're on your case at every turn. And first of all, he doesn't even own a salon in the US. And I go there for it's just nonsense. Where is saying that they don't even know what they're talking about. And even if I were doing that, I would be very proud to really do that. really, because I am somebody like you. We came to the US. All we do is rasball, trying to survive. When you have that American orientation, that's why I get mad when Dr. Cisse was dissing out the Ibrahim Dibas and people for what they do for a living. I have a problem with that because we all know. I mean, when you live here in this country, the things that you do to survive and build up yourself. You heard about Talib, some of the things that he has done, even though people thought he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. I mean, what Talib did is no different from Pasamba, what you did. But having your mom being a permanent secretary in the Gambia,
your dad,
man, they can do a whole lot there. Having your mom being a solicitor general in the Gambia, and I think Talib was the solicitor general, that doesn't mean she was in a position to take care of Talib there. It doesn't work like that there. Gambia sends salary you.
No, it's not easy. So I don't think that anybody traveled abroad. Well, I don't know about the 9 bosses la deal delegate. 3 hours la nelaw. Digante sango nelaw leka yep 3 hours la amon pour ligay wat. So anybody that ku ñew fini, nobody came here and just first off so new system bisa balaga boga system bi am kayit pour ligay. Legi la tukki easy. Nga xamne da nga ñew sa am sa green card ñu jox la ko sa airport ba nga ñew you go straight to work. You know, it was, but you know, it is what it is.
I mean, I'm with you. I'm telling you, I'm not saying I am with you, Lamin Silati Samate. Yes, there are people accusing people unfairly for supporting UDP and calling them names. I mean, it's equally ignorant. It doesn't change I'm not saying that one side is using it against the other side. No, I'm not saying that at all. People are always questioning one's motivation for supporting somebody in our politics. Outside of our politics, I don't think that we're out here accusing people of being tribalist or anything like that. Most of the time, in our politics, I mean, but here in Atlanta, we are known for Kasakan. Most people in the community will tell you, if there is one community that will go out of its way to make sure that we're inclusive, we work together, it's Atlanta, Georgia. I can tell you that for free.
You've learned a lot from DC.
We have to bring a community together.
Money, you've learned a lot from DC.
When is the word coming? When is the brain coming? Mudinjai, I don't know. When is the brain coming?
We'll bring everybody, unless you don't want to come. We'll bring somebody next week, but look out for in 2 weeks on the 30th. It's going to be huge. Bigly.
Panamos, but you didn't play the ads today. What happened?
Thank you, sir.
Man.
Because I was we have the you gotta talk to Milan too.
No.
No deposit, flexible payment plans, and lots of discounts. Get your Lakeview apartment today.
Lakeview apartment, Brother Marong is reminding you, your deposit for, hey, Pasaba Womala. There is a big event happening in Seattle. What is going to be in the house? Who is going to be?
I want you to give me time to advertise my business, Vancouver International Market.
So
before you throw me to the highness, let me do the Baribunka thing. Since yesterday I went on TikTok and Yuka saw my thing. Oh, the Baribunka is here. I swear, if you get up, I'm gonna call you out. Donate to Starlight. I donate, but the sisters gotta support the Baribunka man too, right? So I got a local business. I got a meat established. I can ship it anywhere in the United States. So support your own Baribunka guy, to get the business going, man.
When is Halifa coming?
Halifa would come. Like I told you, we'll have Halifa, we'll have Mr. Dabo, we'll have all of them here. The only party who's been running away from us since is my party, and I don't know why. Esa we've also spoken to Esa, and he was traveling, so I'm going to contact him again to make sure he comes. So we'll also try to bring even my friend. We need to have Ahmed here. That's when Musa would get his match. So he will come here and want everybody know about how the hall. Was a rally conference. I felt sorry for Usainu and OJ.
And this
guy just stood up and said he was going to speak by force. He was going to give a speech, and then he stood up, and Usainu and OJ were sitting. Pretty much, he was doing circles around them, going after everybody. The diaspora very unfair. You guys are biased. Nobody supports me. It's only the Salah family.
The Salah family. So Pasamba, we just all talk about coalition. I mean, just straight up question. And even though Talib kind of talked about it a little bit, saying that UNC can win it alone, do you think, I mean, the opposition stand a chance of defeating Barrow without a coalition, bro?
Absolutely. And unequivocally, no. They would lose.
They would lose them.
This whole, I see people try to, you know what's going to happen? This is how I look at Gambian politics.
Mm-hmm.
The incumbent always will have at least about 40% of the votes. That's just my thing, because I've not seen any elections in the Gambia where the incumbent has less than that.
40%.
They have the resources. They would be unethical in their ways. They would do whatever it is. They would have that 40%. And their goal is, how do we get over the hump? And that's where the challenge is. So whatever they take, you can be 60% all the opposition, and Barrow can end up winning it. You know what could happen?
Mm-hmm.
You see how Rohi won the first mayoral election in Banjul?
Mm-hmm.
That could happen. I don't see Barrow losing with a fractured opposition. If they are united, if we have anything close to what we had in 2016,
right,
Barrow is gone. Anything less than that, it will be a futile exercise. And the fear more, and I think the opposition, they should sit and think about this very closely.
Mm-hmm.
If Barrow wins the next elections, he would sweep the National Assembly elections.
Right.
The local government, at least the overwhelming majority will be NPP. And then now you'll have a government. And the government, when Jammeh won the 1996 elections. And when 1996 was close, UDP had about 10 National Assembly members.
Yes.
All right. 2001, UDP boycotted the National Assembly elections. And from there, you could not have any, because the National Assembly is very important. I know Karamba said he does not agree, but I also do not agree with Karamba on I see his idea.
Yeah, he doesn't.
But maybe we can have time to look into that. Just look at the numbers. You tried to play it here the other time. How do you overcome that? This guy would do whatever it is to win. The only thing that will stop him is a coalition of political parties to defeat him. Otherwise, diga wi bare de gis nga woy bu ñaan woyal naka la Jawara Gambe nangulen no Modou Moussa Ndiaye Jawara gañena wow bi na mo ñu wona Gambe nangulen.
I like to entertain some of these possibilities. I like to entertain them.
No, but talking about that, Mos, Bala, 1 second. I saw Bas what you were telling, because we are thinking about an idea too. Mos and I were talking about it, I think, where maybe the final hour we may just have calling where people can just come and discuss different issues. Yeah.
So Karamba's thinking, and it's not totally far-fetched. If you have another, because it's always been a binary choice, and people are forced to vote. We saw it in 2021. But what Karamba is saying, if you have a third force that people believe that third force can win, in this case, if people believe UMC or Talib Ahmed Bensouda can actually win, then people don't go with that thinking, let me vote against this person. They will vote for him. And Karamba is saying, if enough people vote for SFL, if enough people vote for Talib Ahmed Bensouda and the UNC, that would put Barrow, really, it's going to make it very competitive. And in this case, UDP can pretty much sneak in a win. It will be close. Is it totally far-fetched? I don't think it is. Why am I we entertain some of these notions to prevent trying to come together. Because ligina or moy you come together. What we've done in the past and it worked. Lolumo gena or is the surest way of making sure the incumbent is defeated. And that is why I was talking to a friend of mine. If I were the UDP and UMC, and I'm going to say this, and some people told me waste of time, that ship has already sailed. I think there is still a possibility of these people going to a retreat. And I'm talking about UNC and the UDP. Because Balanga were a coalition. I think they need to be in a coalition first. If you ask me, if I were the person advising, take a retreat, go to the hills of Kaur. There is this new hotel called the Kaurian that tourist residence of River Gambia. Again, they'll go for 3 days. UMC, UDP, they sit there and have a retreat and say, okay, let's find a common ground. If these people can come out of the retreat, hands up there, and say, we are together and we are moving ahead to defeat the incumbent, all of them together. They don't even have to get into the details of this or that, but they have a solid agreement. I think they would be much more powerful before they left compared to coming back together in a reconciliation. Crazy, people might think, but I'm telling you, it's doable. Minela, divorce. Sa jabar nga xulo ak mom ngeen tago. Bo len delote mo gëna neex. And I want to tell people this. If they work on this, especially when it gets closer to the elections, because, of course, UMC, they haven't formed a party yet. They have to do all of that. Odu Senegalese, ku nek dem wane sa poids, where you are. That's when you begin to respect each other. That's when you begin to realize, you know what? If we want to win, we do have merde, we have emotions there. I don't care. Let them go there. I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't work like that. There is going to be December 6th, and you don't want to be disappointed. And I believe parties should be open to that. Reconciliation? Yes. Totally out of the... No, I don't think so. It's something that can work. Because, look, do you seriously believe that the movement, the policies that they believe in is totally different from the UDP? Absolutely not. The policies are pretty much the same. We know what the differences are. Get together and try to narrow them. I mean, I don't know, man. Karamba, maybe we can get together and then I will call that hotel in Kaur, that hill country, and then we will book for 6-7 rooms, and then we allow these people to go in there for 3 days, just like the...
No, like nobody leaves until you have come up with an agreement.
Huh? Nobody leaves. When they're electing a pope, they get inside the house for 3 days. They'll eat breakfast together. They will eat lunch together. They will talk about it, how it can be done together with respect, with civility, not questioning anyone. Hey, I can tell you one thing though, it can work.
But you know what is missing though? What is missing is an Hassan Musa Kamara.
Oh, Kimune Karamba. Let me send in the... Tell you what, Karamba, just call my phone number. Send
the link.
Let me send him the link.
No, what I'm saying, Sarian, like you see, let's say not, even though the Famujetas, but there was a figure that people respected as the chairperson, as in Nakalatuda, Hassan Musa Kamara. You know, because you have to have somebody who is there, who is seen as neutral and respected, who will bring all these people and say, no. Win them for How do we do this? Maybe because I'm going to be the Gambia, no, you get this just take. We don't hold on to something for too long.
No.
And we get tired very easily. So we can disagree subir mitange. When the thing started going, you like and you door, you know what, maybe no one make no sense there. Before you know, you'll come there and ask, oh, that was not so difficult. But, I think, but I still do not agree with Karamba. If you go to the elections alone, thinking that you're going to bleed Barrow of votes, you're not bleeding him of anything. This
Yeah,
40% he's going to find a way of having it, and you're going to lose.
I mean, I can see it, but I also think knowing the voting, the voting electorate in the Gambia, I don't know about that. Really, I mean, it's going to be very, very, very tough. And Gambian electorate, they're very sophisticated. They can make calculations very easily. And that's just what I'm afraid of. We let Karamba come in and do his number. Karamba.
Yes, Musa. Thank you for having me. Mange, I'm sorry I had missed the mayor because I was a little bit tied up. Why didn't I call? Didn't Adam sit on once the program concludes, because I want to hear what he had to say. Most definitely. Why lima bugona wax moy ne in the political calculation we have to do several things. First, more you understand the voters as they exist. Sometimes in our analysis we often get carried away by what I call projection. You Musa, you've been in this game for a long time, and then there is a certain way that you understand the politics to be. And then also, Tamit, you are a lot more pragmatic than the average Gambian voter. Because you and I don't agree, obviously, on our choices and all of that, but we can make a deal.
Right.
Yeah. Why? What we have to do is to understand the voters as they exist. The country is deeply polarized, on all sides. I mean, even within NPP itself. They don't have anything in common. They are just kind of, everybody's just cobbled together, and then they will work together to try to protect the gravy train going. That's about all they have in common. Why really? Do you really believe that CDC has anything in common with Demba Sabali, for example?
Absolutely.
No, he doesn't.
No.
Why they will all hold their noses to try to keep the train going, because they know once Barrow is out, that is done. You cannot, the family Humpty Dumpty, like you cannot never reconstitute it. In the opposition, Tamit, opinions are similarly polarized. Gizinga, the coalition thing, in theory, it's the right thing to do, is the sensible thing to do, is the quickest thing to victory. Yes. Why in reality, the dividend purunga amko directly, because if you do a coalition by nature, then compromise. Yeah. And then when you compromise, a lot of the Gambian voters, if they tell a Geda, understand Galimalani, if he wants Talib and then Talib is not the front of the ticket, dina amsi subcontinent component you know they will not be able to get over that. There are hardline UDP voters, if it's not Hussein Odabo, they are not, forget it. You cannot bring them, they will not do it. They will refuse to go along with it. So if you have a situation like that, you have to try to make lemonade out of the lemons that life hands you over. So if all of the people in the opposition, and then I'm talking, when I say the opposition, there is maybe 2 or 3 or at most 4 camps I need create momentum. What you want all of those people to do is to perform well. If they perform well, because Barrow does not have the majority of the country behind him, and I know Coach is a little bit generous with the 40% thing. Those people he will just get automatically. You have to look at the political problem he also has, because NPP, for the most part, a lot of them came in, especially the ones that he bled from Mama Kande, because you have to understand that he has devastated Mama Kande in terms of Gil Nitami Yip. A lot of those people just thought, Mama Kande took care of them for a little bit. Why they said, well, if Mama can do boreholes and give us a little here and there, if we go to the big enchilada himself, Fofula Chebi Digenatoye. Why it has not happened that way. And he's not going to be able to retain all of those people if there is an independent force. For example, your guy, Musa, who is new, who is different, who has very deep pockets. You have to understand that also. Koku Munna compete in a certain way where he can bleed so much from Barrow. He can probably win. I don't think he will win. I still think our side would win. But then he is the one that they are mortally fearful of him than even us because of the potential he represents. Because Hamnene already they have a minority vote. It's a governing minority. If Talib is able to take a good chunk of that, the guy is toast. Because the hardline UDP vote will vote for UDP. Nyun swing base be Talib Dukomuna Yobu, and then obviously they will not vote for Barrow. Those people will turn out. And what our strategy is to consolidate our base within UDP and then go for what I call the persuadable independence. I'm some of them. Now, there are some independents we cannot get. Not because there is anything wrong with our policy or candidate or anything like that. They just don't like UDP. And you have to understand that as a factor of Gambian political life. Why? You know, Usainu Dabo is not their guy. So it has nothing to do with his qualifications, his character, his record, or anything like that. They just don't like the guy. And that is very hard for some of our people to appreciate as a political fact of life. Why So we are not going to try to go for those. We are going for the persuadable independent. Especially what I call the clean government types. There are some Gambians, they want an honest government, they want proper accountability, they want fidelity to the rule of law. So those are ones that we can get. What Talib can get a lot of the transactional voters, they are looking for something different and new.
No, Karamba, I don't know. I don't know about that.
No. I'm talking about in addition to everybody else. I'm not considering you a transactional voter. Obviously, you are one person.
I'm just saying, why do you think Talib can only get the transactional voters?
No. I'm not saying only. He can get some of them because they are there. I'm not voters, they just want something new and then they want something fresh, and then he can put out motorcycles there. He can put out a little bit incentive packages, and then he's a good politician. He knows how to cultivate people. And then those are the people who are likely to go to Barrow. So the guy can actually bleed him to death. If he performs very well, he can scramble this election. Understand? I think people are forgetting the other actors in this. They are very resilient. Moi Doi, whatever you may talk about Doi, send loyal base. They will bring them out. And then they have them across the country. They have portions in the urban area. They do well in parts of Nyomi also, around in the upper and lower Nyomi. I'm not sure about Jokadu, but they do well in other parts of the country too. So those people they are what I call lifers. They will vote for Doi because they are into Doi on principle. Nyonyu Baro Dulen Muna Am, Talib Dulen Am, and then UDP Dulen Am. Those are Doi people, and then they are not going to go away. They've been in business for 38 years. Nyungfa. And so all I'm saying is if Doi performs, and then Talib performs, and then ESA and maybe one or two other movements, I still think GDC has some potential. Why? The guy has taken a huge beating from this guy because mom typical voters they kind of just go back and forth, and he just doesn't have the muscle to reconstitute them, I think, in the manner that he did in 2016. Why? He's still going to be there. He's not going to go away. And then maybe but then the rest of the other independent movements and all of that, I don't give those people much of a chance. Why? If Talib does well, and then the old guard within Doi performs well, Mama Kande perform well, and then one other movement allied with Esa Fal, Tamit perform well. You are talking about 4 polls that can bleed this guy into defeat. So in that case, one of his opponents will prevail. Because it's a shrinking pie. His base is not going to increase. But he is going to have additional competition from a candidate that can appeal to the people that he gobbled from Mama Kande and some of his own disgruntled people. Understand? So that's why I'm thinking this bleeding strategy can work. Now, the coalition that you are talking about, coming out, and I know you suggested maybe UDP can sit down with Talib and all of that. And I have to be honest with you. Lolu Fogna, it is not a likely scenario because it's going to be awkward. Now, Talib can sit with other people, or the independent movements and then Muhichalen, because he will have more standing power with them. Appeal. Why? The way he exited the party, the family never omelette and then you want to reconstitute the egg. Lolu purunga sorti loco. You know.
Politics. We saw it over the years when people gave up on the idea after the 2000.
No, not the idea of a coalition, but how the architecture of a coalition. This guy is our elected mayor. My 2 daughters voted for him in KMC. You know, so this guy is our mayor. Why the fucking party be? And then how does he come back to the table with UDP? I don't see it.
So when UDP say that,
but he can pull his own weight though. That one I will give it to him, and I think he's the gravest threat to the Barrow base than any of the other players, because Nyunsun base be, like I said, our strategy is very simple and it's not secret. Base consolidation and persuadable. Yeah.
People are saying that base that you're talking about,
yeah,
it will shrink precipitously
because they don't know UDP. Nobody who knows UDP, and you know, you have to give me a little credit. I've been there since '96.
Absolutely.
And I am telling you that the UDP base, and then by base I mean those people that are philosophically committed to the party. Look at even our diaspora, which is a significant part of the base.
Yeah.
You know, same guy, you have not peeled off anywhere near 2%.
I know. The silence is deafening.
No,
they are sitting on the fence there. It's
no.
just,
if you talk to I know the diaspora.
These are people that maybe they're not going to come publicly and make that move because it's not very easy.
No,
it's still most of these guys, they still believe UDP has the answers from a policy standpoint.
Yes.
They try to see
why you Musa? You hamga the diaspora be nyonyu.
But they're saying Moine, they saw in Talib that he would have been the ideal candidate that could really defeat
the few people
when that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So what you're seeing is there's a lot of sitting on the fence.
No.
And
Musa, I sabi UDP and I understand the diaspora. Gizinga, anybody who was going to peel off from the diaspora, and the diaspora, you have to understand, it's a political machine of its own. You know, those who are going to object, the diaspora is the constituency within UDP. They are so strong on following procedure. If they believe that something is not right, they will not stand for it. Why I am trying to tell you, when it comes to our base, UDP base be the shrink or anything like that. How would UDP?
How would UDP?
No, obviously. The family the pa nyunela doi pass samba the fa joge doi. I once joked you know, even if you are coming from anesthesia, doi akasa, because this is what
my mother he's always been losing
because what their motivation is not winning. Their motivation is bigger than winning. If you notice some of the speeches our party leader made years ago, UDP is not a party, it's an idea. Some of our diaspora people, I have never seen them with my own eyes. Why? I can almost echo what they say. Because Hamna is the same value system. So the UDP base is very solid. And then
nobody is saying, people are saying it's like, we saw a UDP base back in 2011 that you only pulled 17%.
It doesn't matter. All I'm trying to tell you.
I just want us to look at the data.
Okay.
You are a partisan and you are a committed UDP. And you've always seen the glass half full. And I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how you are wired. You are the optimist.
Yeah.
And elections after elections, I've heard you make this kind of analysis.
Yeah.
It did not pan out. So this is not the first time I'm hearing you.
Okay, let me answer that particular question. We are talking about a scenario that is different. You are part of the movement who is trying to be a third force, because you complain about what you call a binary choice.
Right.
Okay. I will give it to you that you have capacity to scramble the elections. Why I am putting it to you, even though same candidate B is from us, he is not going to take our base. He can't. Even Usainu Dabo sah billahi su jogonte mune buy na UDP. I am predicting to you he might be able to take a few people. Why do you solid base?
Usainu Dabo is UDP.
No, why mom ti bopam ham na ko ham nakala ko wahe si soze mune so buy UDP. Yeah. Nakala yo I gonna lewet. Anything else because man suma boba tamit su fekkee ne nit ñang ma oye Mandela and ili dan ma def lolu nonu mu dem suma hel bi ma foog ne man may Mr. UDP because they will refuse to go along. Duñ dee buga anybody who will come and twist their arms. They wouldn't go stand for it. That's the nature of our people. They are very tough to deal with.
Why? I know the base, but the question is, how shrink the base is? What's the number that you can put on it? That's just what I'm saying. In the last election, you put 27%.
Yes.
Is the base 27? Some are saying with this split, they come down to 20%.
Why? Why are they saying 20? Because what? Because of what?
Because of the split. I'm not the most sympathetic.
Musa, I just explained to you. Man Samela Joge.
Yes.
But I have more than 200 relatives within KMC and Nyunga Hamne. They actually stood online and voted for the mayor. Okay, that is part of our base. Suma sister Kunga Hamne. I mean, we are all from the same home. Munge say Bundung for 45 years. I have all of my brothers and their wives and everybody staying there. It's staying in different parts, in Churchillstown, in different parts. Sanjaba and all of that. So what I'm explaining to you, if you say the base is going to shrink,
what I'm saying,
yes,
there were also big barracudas that basically left. Ibrahim Adiba is a big barracuda.
Yes, I understand that. Yes, Ibrahim is a big barracuda, and why isn't that?
And then if you look at the grassroots structure, I've seen some.
Okay, let me just explain something to you.
CRR South. Some people that were the base, or even in NBD, structures that were pretty much UDP based, and you could say 30 to 40% of that.
Yeah.
It's now the structure of the UMC.
Now let me explain something to you. Yeah, you are citing examples of individuals. Ibrahim Adiba has been in UDP from age 14. He's a big player for sure. But Ibrahim Adiba is from Salikenya, and he's also from Brikama. And I am putting it to you, he will not be able to deliver Salikenya to UMC. He wouldn't be able to deliver Brikama to you. And then that is not a commentary on Ibrahim. Because what made him big in UDP is the party. It's not the individual. Yes, the president was in Salikenya. He couldn't pull a crowd there because those people have made up their own minds. It's not about the individual. It's not even about Mr. Dabo. They are just UDP because they are party. It belongs to to the people.
This is the same president that carried Lower Badibu in the last election.
But Salikenya is not Lower Badibu. Salikenya is Central Badibu.
Go back and look at those numbers.
Yeah, I know, Ibrahim. I am not saying that we are the majority, because if we were the majority, we would have been governing.
Right.
All I am trying to tell you is that we have a big and a solid base. And then I am telling you,
where would you put that base percentage-wise, you think?
Well, as far as I am concerned, the departure from our base at most is a few individuals. No. Here is why. And you will see this as we go along. Jensen movement, Bimusa, your power is going to come from elsewhere. And then I give you capacity for earning that, because he's likable enough to where he will appeal to other people. You have UDP. Why don't UDP? There is no scenario in which you will be able to get the base of the UDP. It can be done.
Because the base of the UMC now is really UDP. I mean,
no, it's individual members of UDP. That I will concede to you, because they've been our colleagues. They are friends of mine. I still talk to them.
Of course,
they're good. They are smart, neatling, and then I like all of them. I like the mayor. I think he will be a better alternative to Adam Abaro outside of Hussein, our candidate.
I think that's
because So I'm not gonna, do mahalangu di joy if he wins.
Put a percentage on it.
Which one?
The base.
Our percentage is a winning percentage. Yeah, listen to me. Yeah, listen to me. We want you guys to bleed the president as much as you can, which you have capacity to do. And then who knows, if you succeed beyond our wildest expectations, you can win. Yeah. And I am not going to cry if you win. I will actually be happy if you win, because I think Talib will be a significant departure.
UMC will not cry, seriously.
Yeah. Huh?
I will be celebrating if Usainu wins.
And that's what I'm trying to do. Why Lima Bugamwe, for you and your listeners to understand the value of the bleeding strategy. This guy does not have a majority. Let us all perform within our individual component constituencies. Let the Doi hardliners turn out for Doi. Guy Doi Itamit, Bullet Nenegre, then Buga Khalifa, and then you don't canvass votes for him.
Definitely.
So go buge younger you get London corner. Try to get him 50 votes.
Exactly.
Why guy then you neck and then they buy all of the heavy lifting to a handful of people. That's not the way you do it. So go me nitki danga futeku ngane bret timbirmi. Ngasafsi bem safnak. And then that means you have the funga defti depas. And you need to go and canvass votes for. So yentamit UMC pull all of your strings. You have a good candidate that is likable. Go and grab the votes that you can get. Forget about trying to get from the UDP. You can't do that. Yes.
I'm going to give Tukulor.
Yeah.
Tukulor Yangva.
Manginifi. So much I mean, you demanyo purnil and again, Jeff. For the people by the people, Lingen Juplu is a very, very important element of where we're heading into 2026. I'll be one of the people that would honestly tell you, ne, they got the Talib Sivinyoan. Why I wasn't paying much attention. But guess what? Now we're all paying a lot of attention. Anybody who is out there in a young year to presidency in the Gambia, I am warning all the candidates. So lending platforms, with substance instead of defante. Something I learned today, hamne rusnachi mota madam confess kosi comment section be. Dega, based on what I've heard, the rhetoric I have heard, and what I have seen, I always felt Talib pipeline boiler. Because the reason why I'm saying this, Musa nyun suñ papa idan dan oye banjul mafia te ñun from our perspective suñ papa yoyu. What they did for innocent Gambians, they were nothing close to the word mafia. And it used to hurt my feelings a lot.
Exactly.
So today, listening to this young man, I heard him talk about what he did for himself to be where he is today. So his ambition didn't start today. It started when he was in Canada, getting a painting job that gave him, did he say $200,000? I was like, so Marus, maneleta is good nga deklo net siwa. So I'm gonna be what I'm gonna do in this political season. I am gonna blog everybody and I'm gonna do my takeaways. And one of my takeaways for Talib is that he was not a pipeline boy who was given his wealth on a silver platter. Another takeaway I'm going to give him, because his interview with Gami, I was like, he's going to come back and he's going to pounce at Mr. Dabo because of what Mr. Dabo said. He refused to do that. That's another takeaway I'm going to take. Because man dama feel ne hale yi nga xamne ñu ngi duga politique dugal len ci si yaru bu len ci duga pour xasmat. So that's another takeaway I'm going to take from this guy right now. The third takeaway I'm going to take from it Moine, when he talked about disabled individuals.
Yes.
That is something. This man film nekani Musa Jem ham fan la jublo. I am sick and tired of politicians telling me what they are going to do for Gambia. Tell me what you have already done for Gambia.
Absolutely.
Su neka bena affaire sax. Su dene bena thing la sa dinga ne man nek mon government de. Why suma party be li lañ def to advance the Gambia? Even one thing, I will accept it. I'm echoing. Okay. Because Lamin Dabo, Fature Munka interview, I want people to go watch that interview. He talked about, because Nilson Masgi, we're biased. I know who he is. So Saiba said, Ninja, because Saga Meti. Why dem len ngeen déglu fi nga waxee ne dañ ko offer Minister of Justice mu bañ because moom dafa bëgg a jóg pour dimbale askan wi te su nekkee Minister of Justice he cannot choose the cases he's gonna take. He's gonna be taking the cases that were presented to him. That is something that we need to think about.
Definitely.
So yen fi ngeen jublu ni kontaan naa ci torop for the people by the people. Depuis Brufu Dof bi bim ko momé man I have been a keen follower, but I think yen right now Musa Jeng Sarr but I think yen right now fi ngeen jublu ne di ngeen indi everybody ku nango ñew di ngeen ko indi te di ngeen ko ask very very pertinent questions to Gambians plight. Fim nekk ni we need to worry about the lives and the livelihoods of Gambians. I don't want to hear anybody tell me that this is what my party is capable of. I'm not here to say ne ñun suñ parti bi dañ am followers ñun ñoy win ñun movement bi ñun ñoy def ni. No, come and tell me what you have done for Gambia. That is how I'm going to look at the examples you are going to bring as a president. So for the people by the people, I am very, very deeply honored that you guys have decided to bring these candidates and you're going to ask, I know you will ask him the questions I want to hear because that's what you've done all these years. Yo Musa Jeng degala de yangi movement bi. Why man Musa Jeng bi ma xam ken du ko yobbuwale. Be pare Musa santulo ma xeexal la. Why the Fane family? I am very close to them. Yo hamga why?
Yes, absolutely.
It's a noble family. Ñu defante xamuñ ko ci adina. They are very, very pious. They are people ñoo xam ne lu baax rek lañ nekk di defal Gambien. Te Musa yow ni ñaa ngi wax ne yow yaa ngi doon jeexee si struggle bi. Waaye yow sa jabar lim def si struggle bi. Moo ëpp yow liñ ci def. Because xam nga lan laa dee wax. Yéen mi am partners. ñu ngeen di bàyyi seen family di dem while they are tending to the family. They have more, their sacrifice is bigger than yours, yung linga sacrifice. Because Musa Jeng so gisee yow nga bàyyi sa xale ndaw nga mun a nekk on the road nga nekk di toppa affaire xeex yaa jàmme soo gisee nga ñemeñ koo def mun koo def bàyyi sa famille gannaaw da nga am jabar joo xam ne dafa téye sa gannaaw ba mu dëgër mu jàppale la ko. So thank you very much guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's my nakala to the Sikunda sister. Thank you very much.
Koi harama ba ilan ngeen muna jël other callers, but I
yes.
thought I was,
so you Kaiman, I always, especially when we are going to be talking about coalition, it's always good to hear from you.
No, not a problem, and I think things will work out well, Musa.
No, Karamba from Neka, what have to coalition there? Karamba complete nakala to the votes from Barrow so that guy.
Naja be regular.
His 10% of the budget allocated to agriculture. So
that is my highest priority. But we can
I can say this though.
Yeah.
If UDP is going to win, I think it's because of this strategy that you're talking about. I don't see any other way.
Yeah.
It would have to be that.
Bleeding like it. Yes.
Or we find a way from because I listened to Alaji Husseinu the other day, and he was basically saying he's going to be reaching out to these parties. I've always heard him phrase it differently, but this time around, it was very like Mandana Sol Sumabala, and I'm going to be reaching out to these parties. That's what he said.
Yeah. And the party Musa has always done coalitions. I mean, this bleeding strategy I'm talking about does not preclude coalition efforts, and I'm sure the people that are high up on the food chain, they are the wise people. They will sit down and then they understand the ground, they understand the parties, they know how to proceed. So Khalifa you tailing. So what to be jote, they will reach out to every person and then and they will work out the modalities, because we have to do things different from 2016. Understand? Because a lot of the people are a little bit disappointed on the outcome of 2016. So if they are going to do it, I'm sure they'll come up with more and better provisions and wiser, because they know how to play this game. I'm just a foot soldier, and I believe that Gambia is poised for change, one way or the other. And you guys can win too, Musa. Man, I am trying to tell you, whatever you are doing, do it well.
Scenario of UMC definitely winning, because they create an excitement. And look, in any election, choice of candidate matters. Matters, whether it's the US or anywhere else for that matter.
Yeah.
The UMC, their candidate,
Yeah.
candidate being Talib Bensouda,
Yeah.
he's capable. He has the crossover appeal, and people will be like, you know what?
Yeah.
We want to hit the reset button and start.
Exactly. And Ahmad Bai is mortally fearful of you people there. And then he's a wise fox when it comes to this combat politics, because Hamnane sen nit ñi yéen mun nga leen a you can get them by the bucketful, and he knows that, and I think you guys need to press the pedal, because they can't stop you on that one. Loolu la nag so ñun ñu ngi ci side bi daal di cuuñ affaire yi rek, because we want them to bleed the guy. So,
and Karamba, Mother, your counsel, I read what you wrote, and that's where it becomes important.
yes.
Because the UDP cannot also be just entangled with this UMC thing about Kugina, this thing. You just
that's it. Man, I have always said ne swing focus ñun ñëpp, and that applies to UMC and other opponents. He's got to go, and if we focus on him and then create the dynamic in the eyes of the voters, this guy is bad for the country. So, and then you have all these people on the menu you can choose from. Why at least conclude them, and when we do that, then there is no room to go after each other and back and forth.
And crowd that I'm seeing in URR.
Yeah.
Jammeh used to have bigger.
No, Dara Musa.
And this guy who's always
no, politics tapale Musa. Def they bari rira wakrayo and the ngiro ngaro bulkodiga. It's all because they have tens of millions to spend on vehicles and asobi and then the ray ainyai and hippos or whatever. So people will come for the excitement. Yeah.
They have a crocodile like India.
That's exactly what it is. Why again, Jeff guy, keep it up. And I agree with Tukulor that you guys do great public affairs programming, and then you give everybody a fair shot. Yeah. And even though I'm getting why the integrity of the program is there. Farfe na do problem. Why what and then give everybody their fair shot and ask the tough questions. I think this is good for everybody. Absolutely. So again, Jeff. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So Pop Samba, I think we new bike of Wagi, Brother Marong. Maybe busy doing something. Maybe
I'm trying to catch up on my Benachin. I'm low energy right now. Woke up at 8:30, so I gotta eat my Benachin. I want to be transparent, okay? catching up with you. No, I did that. That is like 11:44 here, so yeah. I did that, and I'm trying to eat my Benachin because catching up with Musa Yengse.
Buyapabila or Pendambai?
No, Buyapabila, Benachin Buweh.
Yeah. Bari bobu dina wara bobu dina.
Oh no! Right now it's like smelling all over the place.
I'm not ranka.
Huh?
Ranka basab. I'm the bobu.
Oh no, I'm not bisab. I'm a bisab bobu no bobu side bisla. And she makes this homemade sauce, habanero, and she mix it up. You spice that up, Musa, that's off the chain. But you know one thing? I think you need to invite that guy talking on that TikTok to your home, because I remember Umi gave me this chicken when I went down to Atlanta. That chicken is off the chain. So I think that was a flaw. So talking as Ahmed Baz is talking bongums on TikTok, I think you need to invite.
But anyway,
all right, Father Boy, it was a good one, man.
And hopefully, we will have another potential candidate. Again.
So this is the stuff that we keep talking about. I don't know who owns Benachin. It's Benachin is Benachin. Whether it's Mandinka Benachin or Surua Benachin, it's absolutely irrelevant. It's what it is. I mean, some people, man, I'm telling you.
They're always gonna
we wanted to elevate the conversation, but I tell you, man, it is what it is. So, but you know what? I said, the battlefield of ideas, 2026 is gonna be like that. And I think people just needs to listen with ears open and don't take anything personal. So
yeah. All right, man, guys.
All right, man.
Till next Sunday. Sorry,
Sounds good, buddy. Sounds good.
All right, guys.